And we are alive. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over these internets, all over the mainstream media, social media, everywhere, and I don't know where to start. First of all, we have the Elon Musk and Donald Trump discussion, interview, talk, whatever you want to call it, that happened successfully over on X, formerly Twitter, what I always will call Twitter. It's always going to be Twitter in my heart. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the crooked Secret Service, what's going on? Is there corruption? Do we have a compromised team of people? First, it was the assassination attempt. Then it was them breaking into somebody's salon just because they wanted to use it. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, Kamala. The news media are hyper-focused on Philadelphia. I think the news media wanted to focus on Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, that area a lot more because Biden is from Wilmington, which is in the Philly metro, first. Second, they thought it was going to be Josh Shapiro as the VP pick, who's the governor of Pennsylvania. Since they already had things planned for that state, based on that information that didn't all the way come true, they're going to still do the shows. We'll talk about how those shows went a little bit more a little bit later. And also Rickey Smiley, what's going on with this guy dressing up as a woman, but then tells me how to vote. We'll talk about all those things and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing thus far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yes, we got a whole lot going on tonight. There are quite a few videos. I'm seeing people want some recommendations already. Yeah, I've seen some of the things you guys are talking about. I have most certainly seen quite a bit over the past few days, but shout out to you guys again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on the interwebs. We got a lot going on. Y'all know how I do. First, shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these internets. Their link, as always, will be in the description, or just visit patriotpost.us. Tell them that ABL sent you. Also, please go to my the merch website, the merch website, ablmerch.com. That is ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, visit the regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. You'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce, and in each article, you got sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the politically agnostic, from Democrat, Republican, local, international, national, whatever you want. I got it right there on the website. Again, AnthonyBLogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Also, go to AnthonyBLogan.com/contact us to find my email address, my snail address, meaning my UPS box, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, AnthonyBLogan.com. And as I always say, y'all, please don't get scammed out here. I'm tired of getting your emails. Listen, if you get scammed and you want to try and fix it, hey, you know what the best thing to do? You better call the police where it happens. You guys will watch one of my videos. You enjoy it. You leave a comment, and then someone replies to your comment. You think it's me because they got my picture and a similar name, but it is not me. Okay. I don't have any Bitcoin for you. I don't know what Forex is. Okay. I'm not going to help you get rich quick. I don't have WhatsApp. I'm not a Nigerian uncle. I can sound like an uncle, but I'm not an uncle. It's jokes. I'm an uncle, but that's a Nigerian. I'm an American uncle. Not a Nigerian. I don't have any scam for you today. So yeah, don't do that, man. Don't get scammed by the Africans over there or the Europeans, because they will scam you too. They will scam your pants clean, smooth off. They will most certainly do it. A lot of the Indian dudes, shout out to the Indians, you know, they'll get you as well. Guys over in Malaysia, they'll get you. And of course, you're going to get got by Americans the most. Oh, yes, you will. We're talking about scamming. Look, I joke about the Nigerians because I feel like I do a pretty good Nigerian accent. That's the only reason why I focus on them. But the Americans, listen, I got scammed at least more than once at a restaurant. So you got to be careful where you go to eat. You go into these restaurants, and I know exactly where it happened too. And you know what? I'm going to tell a quick story. Can I tell just a very quick story? So look, boom, I'm in Atlanta, of course. But look, hear me out. It wasn't even like that. I wasn't in the city. I was kind of outside in the outskirts. I'm at this restaurant eating. I won't say exactly where I was or what the restaurant was. But the first red flag that went off was the waitress. The girl comes out in the craziest wig I've ever seen in my life. It looked like one of them British powdered wigs. It looked like that, but a more Americanized hood version. Got a little bit of red in there. Got a little bit more mullet action happening in the back. The front part where it meets the forehead was crazy. I'm like, man, I probably should not let her take my card back there and do anything with it. She probably on the phone with somebody on FaceTime. Hey, look at this guy's card. Take the information down. And I know that's probably where it happened because that's where the antenna went up. And the next day, maybe like another day or two, I'm looking at my credit card statements and I'm seeing something from PetSmart. Who's spending $700 at PetSmart? Did you buy a dog? Did you buy a cat? Did you buy a pet snake in the feed in the tank? What are we doing? Okay. I don't have no pets in this house. I've not been to PetSmart in years. Okay. I have no reason to even go in there. What they did was probably just take my card right there at that spot. So long story short, you can get scammed by anybody, and you definitely got to keep your eyes on what's happening right here in the good old USA. Oh yeah. I saw a video of a TSA guy going into somebody's bag in the actual line at the airport. When you go into the airport, you put your stuff in the little thing, the conveyor belt, come out on the other side. You pretty much, you got to take your clothes off to go through the little thing, take your belt off, take your shoes off, take your pants. It's like, let's just slow it down a little bit. I don't want to go through all this nonsense, but that's what they do with TSA. And then they have audits, I guess, of TSA to see if they're going to catch certain things. And they miss weapons, they miss knives, guns, all of that. Could just go straight through. But you still got to pretty much get strip searched in the middle of Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport. Talking about something, I'm going to pat you like this on the front of your body. Let's not. The technology should be good enough to be able to see what I got on me. If I got a knife or a gun or some drugs, you should be able to detect that without having to be too invasive, okay? But anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, I'm not, the travel experience, I try to just make sure that I'm dressed the correct way. If I wear certain jeans and it kind of like bunches up or something, might be a little bit too big for me. I got the belt on. They're going to kind of trip. I'm taking my belt off. I got a little bit of sag because the belt's not there. Yeah, I'd rather would not. I'd rather not. All right. So we got a whole lot going on here. Hold on. Caius Posthumus. Wow. Did you guys see this from Caius Posthumus? My grandfather was taken by ambulance to the ER, and while he was unconscious, one of the nurses took over $1,000 out of his wallet. That's a crazy story. That's crazy, but I believe it. I 100% believe it. They will rob you. People will rob you right here in this country. And in the most vulnerable times, they will rob you. You see some of these videos, people fighting outside. Some of the old World Star videos, every now and again, or actually quite often, somebody gets knocked out, what's happening? You get the vultures that come up, run through the pockets. Okay, you might get $5 in a bag of chips, but they're still going to do it because that's the mind of some people. Always trying to find an opportunity to take advantage of somebody. All right. Yeah, I know times are tough, but hey, it ain't that tough to steal from my pawpaw in the ambulance. That's crazy. You're gonna rob my pawpaw and the ambo? That is absolutely a mess. Salty says, I'm too white to go to Atlanta. Listen to me very well. Atlanta is not what some may think. I mean, the narrative is a narrative, and that's fine. That kind of keeps the traffic down a little bit, and the traffic is already crazy. But when I go to Atlanta, I see everybody. A lot of white folks in the area. It's still Georgia. Don't get it twisted. It's still Georgia. Okay, a lot of white folks, and everybody pretty cool. Everybody kind of do their own thing, stay in their areas. But just like any other place, Atlanta is it's a high black population compared to like Chicago or something like this. It's higher than what Chicago would be. All right. But yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just like anywhere else, really. I'll tell you what. I've been to a lot of big cities in this country. New York City, hated it. Too crowded, it stinks. Urine, I'm good. Rats, roaches, I'm straight. Cold, I don't like the cold weather. I love the warmth. I'm gonna stay in the Sun Belt forever in the United States. Now, if I decide to have another residence somewhere else, a different country, but the Sun Belt, that's going to be the place for me. Yeah, LA's like that. LA, same thing. Ghetto, crowded, traffic, rude people, no English. I ain't like it. I don't like cities that's way too big like that. I prefer Miami. If it's between New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, and then the only thing about Miami is that it's a little bit too humid. Well, it ain't that bad with the humidity. I actually kind of prefer the humidity more than the arid temperatures. But Miami, it's just the weather. You kind of exposed to the elements a little bit more than inland. All right. Tony says, I heard Atlanta is like LA. I mean, not really. I mean, some of the city parts, I guess you could compare it to some of the city parts of any city, any kind of big city. But the surrounding area is what makes it what it is. And it's not quite, Southern California is different. Southern California is way different. It's a different kind of culture. The West Coast in general is different than East and the Mississippi. It's like a newer place. California was a place that was kind of founded upon real, true freedom. The gold rush, all that stuff happened out there. But over time, you let the communist influence from the Far East kind of creep in. And you got a mess over there right now. And Rock, you be my guy in Miami. Shout out to you, man. I hit you up. Next time I'm in Miami, yeah, I'm going to go down there. And I'm not really a big fan of the tourist areas because I'm from a tourist place. Being out Virginia Beach, all of that is, to me, going to the beach is like going to the mall. It ain't that big of a deal. But I like the other stuff. I like going to Brickell and seeing all that. I don't really, South Beach is cool, but it's just like whatever. All right, we got some videos here. Speaking about traveling, hey, if you're traveling anytime soon, there may be an advisory. Especially if you go overseas. You're trying to go to Africa, somewhere like this. Well, there may be an advisory for your travel. All right. We got our guy, Tedros. Remember him? The World Health Organization. Was he the chairman, the CEO? I'm not sure what his title is. Oh, he's a director general. Okay. Tedros from the World Health Organization. We have a new scare, monkeypox, yet again. And when you hear him speak, he's going to call monkeypox something different. And I'm going to explain that after he's done.
Today, the emergency committee met and advised me that, in its view, the situation constitutes a public health emergency of international concern. I have accepted that advice. The detection and rapid spread of a new clade of Mpox in eastern DRC, its detection in neighboring countries that had not previously reported Mpox, and the potential for further spread within Africa and beyond is very worrying. In addition to other outbreaks of other clades of mpox in other parts of Africa, it's clear that a coordinated international response is essential to stop these outbreaks and save lives.
So what does a coordinated international response sound like to you? The last time we had that, when you're talking about a health event, that was COVID-19 and the masks and the shutdowns and things of this nature. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm not going to shut down. It just ain't going to happen. I refuse to do it. I'm going to keep on going about life like normal. Now, whether a restaurant shuts down or whatever, that's fine. But I'm not going to shut down. And remember, you got to have the essential spots be open. So I'm still going to have my food. I'm still going to be able to do what I got to do. I'm not going nowhere. We just not going to do it. All right. And if you were listening to what he said a little bit closely, he called monkeypox mpox. Did you catch that? That's a little bit, that's how they changed language. Why are you calling it mpox? Monkeypox was perfectly fine. We know what you're talking about when you say monkeypox, the STD that gay men transmit to each other and to kids and dogs, allegedly. So are you trying to start this all over again? Another C-19 type situation? I hope not. I really hope not. And why not address the actual group that's at risk for the spread? Because when it was over here a while back, it was gay men. That was it. They had the vaccination drive in New York City for the monkeypox vaccine, and they had a list of requirements. I wish I had saved that file because I often refer to this, but in a list of requirements to be eligible to get the vaccination, they said you have to be between a certain age, I think 30s or something like this, 20s, 30s. You had to be gay and a male. In New York City, these were the requirements to be eligible to get the vaccination. And they said you had to have had a bunch of intimate partners within a very short period of time, like a month or something, like 10 partners in a month. The line for the vaccine was all the way down the street, right around the block, just in New York City. All men, all guys in their 30s, all of them, 100%. And then what happened when the virus vanished all of a sudden, what happened was news came out that first it was an STD. That's how it spreads. NBC News said that in an article, and it's still up. It didn't redact it. They didn't retract it. They still have it up. That's the first thing. The second thing is that on the left coast, of course, where else, they were reporting that children and dogs living with gay males were also getting monkeypox. But they said it was the STD. So how'd that happen? Like, can we just go from point A to B to C? Where's the connection? I don't know. I'm not saying that there was some kind of nefarious activity, but I'm just saying that's what it was. So what's really going on? Why are the dogs catching it? Why are the kids catching it? I never thought that dogs would be a monkeypox transmitter. How does that work? I think we know the answer to that, but I digress. Oh, speaking of your man Fauci, okay, now here's a good video. Well, two videos side by side. 2021, if you're vaccinated, you can feel safe that you will not get infected. 2024, 3 infections after 6 vaccinations. Does it work? I can't tell. Check it out.
And when people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected. And when people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected. And when people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected.
So you heard that right there. When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they won't get infected. That's what he said. And now, 2024, what does he say?
I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my 3rd infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
Now, look, I mean, 6 times and you still getting infected. Man, they kept changing. That story was they kept changing the story. They kept moving the goalposts. First, it was, hey, you got to get the vaccination to save grandmama because if you don't care about the elderly people. You're selfish, all this, that, and the third. You shouldn't leave your house, stay in there forever. Then what did they say? Oh, well, you can still spread it, but you can't, you can still catch it and spread it, but your hospitalization won't be that bad. But now we're seeing that a lot of people have been injured by this vaccination. People are still getting hospitalized while they're vaccinated. And a lot of that is people that are in the risk group. I don't think they have a vaccination. I don't know what they have. They got something, but I don't think it's not a vaccination. If it doesn't prevent you from getting it, then what is it? It's just a drug they're making you take. They could put sugar water in that thing and you'll buy it anyway, or you'll get it anyway because it was purchased and some guys made a whole lot of money. It wasn't you, but somebody made a lot of money off of you. Okay, you thinking you got a vaccination, all you got was a Flintstones vitamin at best. That might have been better than what you got right now. They could have put some other kind of stuff in there beyond the sugar water. Okay, straight up poison you, put a tick of time bomb in your heart. At least with the Flintstones vitamin, that's going to do your body very good when you were youngin', and it'll last when you get to be older. You know why I never got the C19, knock on wood, or anything like that? Hey, man, I took them Flintstones vitamins. I was eating my green beans and my peas and all that good stuff. I did not throw my peas away from the table. I ate all my fruits and vegetables and my balanced meals to become a strong young boy and a man. I didn't take all these chemicals they want you to put in your body. I didn't take those at all. Okay. Now, speaking about putting the right things in your body, my man right here was a little bit upset that Subway did not take EBT.
This sandwich is going to be mine. But you want to know why?
I didn't pay for it.
Listen, I'm going to call corporate. No. As a matter of fact, I'm going to call corporate. Take your sandwich.
Yeah,
okay?
we will.
No.
And that's not me. I promise it's not me in the past before I shaved my beard or anything like that. It's not me. I swear on everything. I would never listen. I would never wear a hoodie with some kind of pink logo on it. So obviously that's not me.
I'm going to call corporate. I'm going to call corporate.
Go for it.
Okay,
We don't accept DBT.
Wait, you know what?
Go for it. We don't accept DBT.
All Subways do normally, okay? I didn't know that. Okay? I talked to her and I told her that I had an EBT card on me. I was holding it.
Just get cash. Why don't you have cash?
Because I don't have the cash on me right now.
Okay, why don't you have cash?
Okay? And maybe
Get
I
your money up,
don't
not
have
your funny
cash on me.
up. Get your money up, not your funny up, bro.
Get your money up, not your funny up. Now you just trolling Subway, man.
Get your money up.
Get your money up.
Dude, why are you using EBT?
First of all,
Use some money.
you're going to get fired, dog. Okay.
Go for it.
I'm going to call. What's your name?
Bob the Builder, dog. Get the fuck out.
Bob the Builder? Okay, I got you, Bob the Builder. I'm going to wait by this car. I'm
Now look, he's trying to pay for the sandwich with the EBT card. Okay, you guys know the EBT card. That's your electronic benefits transfer. That's going to have your food stamp, Section 8, WIC, TANF, all that kind of good stuff on the card. Now, if you are an illegal alien, you get all kind of money on there. Didn't I show you guys? Lady that had $13,000 in food stamps and almost about 5 bands, as the cool kids say, on her EBT card. $18,000 of value on the EBT card. Now, if it was her and if it was in New York City, you could do whatever. California, same thing. You could buy hair weave with the EBT card. Yes, you can. Hair weave with an EBT card. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I don't think that hair weave should be a purchase allowed while using the EBT card with your government benefits on it. I mean, that's just me. Beyond that not being a very intelligent purchase, if you're on government benefits, I don't think it should be allowed. If it was me, listen, if I could just be the king, if I could be the ruler, I wouldn't allow you just to spend money like that willy-nilly. I have the old school Great Depression. Maybe they don't want the optics of the Great Depression when you had the food lines and stuff like this, because if not for the EBT cards, you would have that. Okay, you would have that all over the country. So maybe the goal is to hide what's happening in this country. Okay, let you just go in and squabble with the Subway guy over a sandwich rather than going up to a food distribution center or a food bank or a food kitchen and getting a free meal like you homeless or something like this. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but they don't want the optics of that happening. and also people that are using these cards, they don't want their embarrassment. But still, if I was a king, I would do that because I would reduce the amount of poverty by creating incentives for people to go out there and make their own money rather than having to come outside in the cold, in the rain, in the sleet, in the snow, in the heat, just for a little bit of food. You're going to just get your cash up and not rely on the EBT card. That's how I would do it, especially for men, working age men that's like 35 years old, 40 years old. Nah, I can understand if you got little kids or something like this, but, and you're a woman, but even then you still got to be working, doing something. But yeah, shout out to the EBT card people. Shout out to y'all. I mean, it's all good. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, did you guys see the lady at the Olympics, the break dancer? the break dancer. Now, I've heard all types of things about her. I heard that she created this. She created an opportunity for herself to allow her husband to benefit. I don't know if that's true. Let me show you guys a picture because you know how they do with the IOC. They want to try to hate on streaming because they want to keep all the rights to this stuff, old school stuff. This lady, have you guys seen this lady? I'm gonna show a little bit of this if they let me, okay? And I'll play a response to the critics. But this lady did breakdancing at the Olympics. So she says it was a complete mess. She looked like this is her very first time ever dancing. And she just saw a couple of breakdancing videos like, I can do that. She, in my opinion, is the epitome of a guy on their couch sitting with a whole, just back to back, chugging a 12-pack of beer, okay, and throwing the can right on the ground. She's the equivalent of that guy talking about, I can do that. LeBron James, not that talented. I can dunk. I can shoot a ball in the goal. I can run and, okay, you say you could do that, but go out there and do it. Or like boxing. I can get in the ring with Mike Tyson. Man, listen, if a normie got in the ring with a boxer and they were seriously boxing, the normie would seriously be injured to the point where they might not be able to walk anymore. Or all of their jaw area right here, all their jaw, teeth, tongue, nose, that's going to be disconfigured forever. You could be looking like just somebody just took their hand and smeared your face like it was clay. That's going to be how you look. All right. But look, we have some video of the young lady. Okay. Now, I'm gonna just play a little bit of this because they might try to hate on me. Now, did you see the little the kangaroo move? Because she's from Australia, so she wanted to incorporate some of the cultural things from Australia, including the kangaroo. Check it out. Now, this was supposed to be breakdancing. I know you guys know what breakdancing is, but if you don't, maybe you just, different culture, whatever. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna show you a video of what breakdance is supposed to be. All right, hold on. So yeah, that was a mess. That was at the Olympics. That was at the Olympics. Yes, it was. Okay, now before we get to the response from Team Australia, let's show a little bit of actual breakdancing for the young people who've not seen it, or you're from a different country or whatever the case may be. This is in the 80s. Okay. Now this guy right here just might be on Soul Train or something like this. Okay. Just chilling. Now this is breakdancing. All right. What the lady was doing at the Olympics, I have no idea. Okay. And it's not just for black folks. You got white folks, Puerto Rican, candy stripe, a little bit of everybody. My man right here, I don't know what race he is, but it don't matter. That is an actual art form. Okay. Now, let's get back to Australia and see what their response is to the critics.
What I can say is that I love Rachel, and I think...
Oh, and by the way, the lady that we saw, the crazy breakdancer, her name is Rachel Gunn. Her nickname is, wait for it, Ray Gunn. Get it? Rachel Gunn, Ray Gunn. Let's continue.
What I can say is that I love Rachel, and I think that what has occurred on social media with trolls and keyboard warriors and taking those comments and giving them airtime has been really disappointing. If you don't know Rachel's story, in 2008, she was locked in a room crying, being involved in a male-dominated sport as the only woman, and it took great courage for her to continue on and fight for her opportunity to participate in a sport that she loved, and that got her to winning the Olympic qualifying event to be here in Paris. She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
Look, Miss Anna, if that person that we saw is the best female breakdancer in Australia, you guys got a problem. Like, nobody in the country can dance at all. If that's the best you got, there's no dancers in Australia. Let's just be serious. I'm sure that somebody in Australia can dance better than that. I'm sure there's at least one woman that can dance better than that. I refuse to believe that's the best that Australia has to offer.
Now, you look at the history of what we have had as women athletes has faced in terms of criticism, belittlement, judgment, criticism, and simple comments like they shouldn't be there. 100 years ago, leading into Paris 1924, Australia sent a team of 37 athletes. None were women. 100 years later, we have 256 women represented here, and Ray Gunn is an absolutely loved member of this Olympic team.
Alrighty, so if you think that breakdancing was not very good, and the movie, by the way, that was Breaking. Yeah, I thought that might be that, but I wasn't quite sure. Somebody said in the comments, but I showed the actual breakdancing was from the movie called Breaking. But yeah, so if you think what the Australian did was not good, then that means you're a sexist. That's what that means. That means that you're against the progression of women in the Olympics. Now, that's a crazy thing to say, because there are actually talented women who play sports, who are in the Olympics. You got your, Simone Biles killing it. Some of the WNBA basketball players doing their thing. Women that may even shot put or do track and field, they're out there doing their thing. So when you say it's about women, you're kind of downplaying all the actually talented women who compete in the Olympics from all over the world, including Australia. That whole thing was a mess. And by the way, they've already said that there won't be any more breakdancing at the Olympics in 2028, thankfully. And they're going to have it in Los Angeles. How do you guys in Southern California feel about the Olympics coming to LA? The traffic out there is out of this world. Okay, it could be a brand new hot dog stand that pops up. That'll cause the traffic to be 2 hours behind. It's real bad. The Olympics, I don't know how they really work with the traffic of Los Angeles. Like, where are you actually going to be? How are you going to host things? It's going to be a mess. And to get everything ready for the Olympics takes a lot. It can change a city. So I don't know how you guys are going to be able to deal with it. I'm glad I don't live out there in Southern California. I like to be on the East Coast, in the South, minding my business. All right. So yeah, speaking about LA, you also see this part of the traffic is stuff like this. Now, these bright young individuals are doing their whole street protest, blocking traffic. And where are they at? They're on the 405. Shout out to Clown World for posting this. Clown World says, protesters block 405 in LA, demanding a Gaza ceasefire and an arms embargo on Israel. Effective or annoying? Question mark. Now, what language is that? Are we speaking Hebrew? We speaking Arabic? What's going on? Is it a combination? Is it some Hebrewish, some Arabicish, Arabic English, Hebrew English? I don't know what's going on. But you got the traffic of all these people in Southern California, and you got these mouth breathers on the interstate blocking the traffic. So, yeah, good luck getting around with the Olympics. Now, what if they do that during the Olympics? It's going to be a complete catastrophe. It's going to be a big, big, big mess. Somebody said Irish Arabic. Hilarious. But yeah, it's not for me. That kind of situation is not for me. Now, speaking about what's not for me and staying in the great state of California, let's take a look at this bill for hold on, I'm gonna just put it on the screen. SB 94 early release. Okay, let's check it out.
Those serving life without parole to petition for early release if they've been behind bars for at least 25 years or since 1990. This includes those charged with killing up to 2 people. Serial killers and those convicted of killing police officers would not be eligible for this.
So, hey, if you are in prison on a life sentence and you've been down for the past 34 years, you might be able to come home. Yeah, come on back to the house. And if you deleted somebody, well, we'll give you a 2-person allowance because one person, might have just been in a fight, some kind of gang war, whatever. Another guy, you might have had to go ahead and put him down while you're in the penitentiary to protect yourself. So that's 2. But if you're getting to be 3, 4, 5, 10 people, you're a serial killer, a hitman, people like that, then maybe you shouldn't come out. Maybe you shouldn't come out. Maybe you're just going to stay down. All right. But hey, if you're serving a life sentence, yeah, come on back, man. You be all right. And I would presume that a lot of people, they probably get 25 to life. Maybe it was different back in 1990, but you probably get 25 with the L. So if it's been 34 years and you still locked up on the 25 to L, then that means you probably shouldn't be out. You probably should stay in the penitentiary to make big rocks to little. Dr. Johann Kraus says he only killed 2 people though. ABL. hey, it's not no big deal. It's only 2 people. Again, that's California, of course. That is California. SB 94. Now we got some street interviews. I'm loving these street interviews. These are really good. It just kind of gives you an idea of the climate of people, of the temperature of people. So let's see what's going on here. Start from the top.
Trump or Kamala?
Kamala.
How come?
So many reasons. Trump is a liar. He's self-fulfilling. I believe in freedom of all people.
Do you think Trump doesn't believe in freedom of all people?
He believes in capitalism to a degree that eliminates the freedom for all people.
And you mentioned things you don't like about Trump. What are some things you do like about Kamala?
She approaches politics from a more empathetic perspective. Of course.
You soft. You got Kool-Aid, your heart pump Kool-Aid. You soft. Oh, she's empathetic, feels.
Of course, she's chasing glory for herself, but she's not entirely willing to sacrifice her morals and her ethics to achieve.
What morals and ethics? We're talking about deleting babies and things like this, transgender children, stuff like this. What morals and ethics? What part of morality says it's okay to allow an 8-year-old girl or boy to transition into somebody else with drugs and things like this that are permanent and irreversible? What part of morality says that? Where is that in the Bible? I don't know.
Heights that Trump looks to.
How do you feel about Kamala wanting men in women's bathrooms? She wants to allow men to go in women's bathrooms.
I wouldn't support that, but you can poke holes in every candidate. She's the better option in terms of supporting people that are not just the top echelon. She's not perfect, but I think she's definitely the lesser of 2 evils, more perfect than Trump.
So basically, I don't like Trump. That's why I'm voting Kamala. That's what that says right there. That's what that said right there. Now, here's another one.
Trump or Biden?
Liberal, when you're smart.
Biden?
Yeah.
How come?
Did you know that the fundamental difference between liberal and conservative is educated or not educated, intelligent or not intelligent?
Now, that's two different things. He says educated or not educated, intelligent or not intelligent. First of all, if you're highly educated with this ponytail with the scrunchie, the purple scrunchie, sir, and the shaved sides, then I don't, if that is what you call sophisticated, educated, you can keep that. Go ahead and keep that. But the thing about it is, there may be some truth to that as far as the level of education, like when you're speaking about college, high degrees, things of this nature. But with the education also comes indoctrination. A lot of these highly educated people are complete normies, complete just NPCs. Whatever the professor tells them, whatever the teacher tells them, that's what they'll parrot. They have no original ideas. And really, it's kind of like an innovation there as well. A lot of your innovation comes from those who are not so quote unquote highly educated. Guys who just go out here and do things with natural abilities, natural talents. I'm not saying education is a bad thing, but at the same time, it can't be the only thing. You got to have a good combination of being taught by somebody or institution about certain things, and also your own internal monologue, your own ethics, your own faith, your personality. Who are you aside from your education? You got to have a good combination of both. But a lot of these individuals don't have that on the left. And then he's trying to say your level of intelligence is linked to your education. Not necessarily. Your education is just what you have been taught. What you have been taught can be good or bad. It can be indoctrinated. You can be educated on one specific skill. That does not mean that you're intelligent in general. How do you deal with problem solving? When issues come up in your life, how do you deal with problem solving? I've seen people solve problems in crazy ways. Things that don't make any sense at all. Like there was a video, if I could find it, I'm going to show it. There was a video of, it probably was a parody, but this kind of thing does happen all the time. Might have been in China or something in a fast food restaurant. And there's this mustard bottle. And you have three people. You got two people trying to fill the mustard bottle and then the manager in the back. So the one girl is trying to fill the bottle with this plastic that has the mustard in it. She's trying to fill it through the top where you can squirt the mustard out. Now the other girl takes the top off and turns it upside down and puts it on top where the bottle meets the actual nozzle, the piece. She turns it upside down to create a funnel. But the problem is it's not a funnel because it's meant to be squeezed. So it's a small opening. You can't really pour it in there through that way. Obviously, the solution is take the top off and let the big opening serve for the area to feed the mustard. And the manager was in the back shaking his head like. And the thing about it is a lot of these individuals that do stuff like that are highly educated. And that's the difference. That's the difference. But let me let him continue.
No, that's not true. That's just a statistic, but that's not what makes you a liberal conservative.
Well, that was what I was talking about, was the statistic. Are you aware that statistically liberals have more intelligent people, conservatives have more...
So do you think getting educated makes you intelligent?
Yeah. I got this way by studying at the collegiate level for 30 years.
All right, Trump or Biden?
Liberal.
So yeah, that's my man. Hey, you know what? He says he has the whole thing figured out. He's got it figured out. You know, if you're smart, you're liberal. If you're dumb, you're conservative. That's the whole thing. All right. So yeah, shout out to him, Captain Genius over there. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Is he a professor? He probably would be. He probably is a professor. I don't doubt it at all. I do not doubt it. He said he'd been teaching 30 years or he's been learning 30 years. I'm not really sure. So maybe he's been educating himself in his basement with the chicken tendies for 30 years, or he could be a professor. I don't really know. Yeah, 30 years. 30 years. All right. So yeah, shout out to him. All right. Is he is a senior? Is he a student or a professor? I can't tell at this point. I cannot tell. Now we got to get to a couple of things, some really important things, because we got the opinion about Kamala, whatever. Okay, that's fine, but we got to get to this whole Rickey Smiley kerfuffle. Oh my goodness, Rickey Smiley really just he irritated me beyond belief. He really did. It was crazy. Now you guys may or may not know who Rickey Smiley is, but he has a following. He has a radio show that people listen to in the morning, a morning show. And his defense of Kamala was just ridiculous. Now listen, I'm not trying to attack anybody's sexuality, anybody's orientation or whatever, but look, Rickey Smiley, hear me very well if you're listening, if you're watching. I'm not taking my advice on politics from a guy who is constantly dressed up like his grandmother. You dress like your grandmother for a living. That's your whole career, dressing like her. When you are not on your radio show, if you do a movie or something like this, you dress like your grandma. All right. So I'm not, what are you going to tell me about politics? Really? What's your grandiose solution to the world's problems? I don't really understand. You're a comedian. You're an entertainer. Just stay right there. And the reason why I did that is because he really insulted a lot of people who have opinions about the election. And he was racist on top of that, talking about all you black people. I got to play some of this. And then we're going to play another comedian basically saying the same thing. And this is the problem. A lot of these popular people have platforms and they are informing uneducated people about the political process when they don't know what's going on themselves. It's the blind leading the blind. So I'm here to just break away at that. No, you can't say you're black when you said you were Indian for the past 15 years. No, you can't say that. You can't just do that. I look at Kamala trying to be black the same as I look at Bruce Jenner trying to be a woman. Okay, listen, Bruce Jenner, you're a man. Listen, okay. Bruce Jenner was a dad, had a whole family, married, all of a sudden, now I'm a woman. All right. So what do your 5, 6, 8 kids get you on Father's Day? Nothing? Come on, man. Stop playing. Same thing with Kamala. You're Indian, biracial at best, but Indian when you want to identify something for years and years and years. Now, election time, you're something else. I don't like that. It's being fake. But let's watch some of this from Rickey Smiley.
Entertainment. Sports. It's the
I don't want to hear all this intro stuff. Let's just get straight to the meat and potatoes.
Black people on the internet talking about a great choice for Kamala Harris. I'm just sick of the black people on the internet talking about I'm not with her. Okay, so if you're not with her, that means you with Trump. And y'all need to block every last one of their asses on Facebook and on Instagram and social media and stop. Like, that's just.
Now, you know what? He kind of gave himself away right when you said block him on Facebook. You one of these, uncles, cousins that is an irritant on Facebook. And I know a few of them. Shout out to y'all if you're watching. Hey, I'll see you at the family reunion maybe. I don't know. But you got a few of them, and a lot of them are old like this. All they do all day is just hate on you. All day. I got one right now on my Facebook. Every post. I know my cousin is going to be right there. And he bought a little bit. He's older than Rickey. Rickey's like 56. And the guy I'm talking about, my cousin, is like in his 70s, I think. That's how they be. All day like that. But I'm getting triggered.
It's garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage.
Can everybody we be united on anything?
Can't agree on a damn bucket of chicken. One person want a hot dog.
I always complain.
Black folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too. But I'm with her. Because a vote for her, if you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting Donald Trump, you can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Well, but look though, see the thing about it is, it's so much it is in the community. It's so much of the shaming, so much of the hatred. But if you want me to vote for Kamala, give me a good reason. Why? Why should I vote Kamala? Don't just say he's not Trump. She's not Trump. Pardon me. Don't say that. Just give me some reasons why I should vote for Kamala. Now, he tried to give some reasons in this particular little clip here, but he didn't do a very good job.
You know, I'm just like, don't vote for him. It is what it is.
They're not even doing, y'all not even out here doing real research to look at her record. If you do the research or whatever, stop believing everything you read and do real research, you can see what a record is. You can see.
What am I going to research? Like, what am I going to find when I do the research? Because all I know is that Kamala ran for president in 2020 and got stomped into wine, got stomped into the finest glass of Merlot you ever had in your life. She sure did. Dropped out in 2019. Didn't even get to the Iowa primaries in January in 2020. She was doing so badly. And before that, she was a senator. And I think before or after that, she was the attorney general in California. California senator, California attorney general. What did she do in that role? Lock black men up, ticky-tack charges. Meanwhile, you still got crime and violence raging rampant all over California. So what are you really doing? What's her record, Rickey Smiley?
See what she have done. I think you can Google what have Kamala Harris done for the black community or things that black people benefit from a lot. We need to stand with her. Yes. We need to stand with her. She's great. She will make a great president. And what a blessing to be living in a time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. In our time, we get a black man and a black woman become president. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Messy. Be on the right side of history. Be on the right side of history.
That's so, it's just the Amber Rose and everybody got all these videos and stuff and talking about Kamala Harris talking out of both sides of her. How would you say something so disrespectful? Even if you felt that way, I wouldn't dare make a video or say nothing like that to them.
Now let's pause for a second. There's more. He really made a point that I want to get to in a second that I really, in my video, when I was watching that for the first time, when I did my video on this, I was watching it for the first time, recording it. I did just the one take. I didn't go back and just one take. I did it. I was shocked. Well, not really shocked, but I had a really crazy reaction to what he was saying. But here's something. All I'm really hearing from Rickey Smiley is she black, black. That's all I hear. Now, how about Candace Owens? She black too, ain't she? She black for real. I would say Candace Owens is black. There's not a question. Candace Owens is not racially ambiguous like Kamala is. So it's an undeniably black woman, Candace Owens. Are you going to support her with the vim and vigor that you're doing right now? I don't think so.
Vice President of the United States of America that's trying to stand up and that's going to possibly pick 2 United States Supreme Court justices or whatever to try to keep the laws in place that Thurgood Marshall and all of the people that have paved the way and try to redo and get back into some of this.
The laws? What laws from the Supreme Court? They don't legislate, or maybe I'm incorrect.
Settled law, women's rights to choose, your voting rights, and Brown versus the Board of Education. Should do your homework, black people.
Hold up. Let me just tell you something right here that could be very historic. And Kay pointed this out to me. If Kamala Harris is elected, she would be sworn in.
She could be sworn
on
in
MLK Day
by the first black Supreme Court,
and possibly by Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Wow.
Does that not give you chills?
Come on,
stop it.
Does that not send
Maria?
Just make your whole body vibrate.
Maria,
oh my
I can
gosh.
go deep into that. You got a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated reading in a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated into the damn White House. What's wrong with y'all?
Come on, man.
MLK holiday.
But y'all mad because she ain't talking about reparations.
Who was a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated?
Rickey Smiley. Nobody cares about that stuff, man. Who can, like, okay, you go to your black college reunion, you can be doing all this noise and making t-shirts. Okay, you go into the Greek reunions, y'all barking, making noises, sticking your tongue out. That's fine. You want to do that? That's fine. But really, it doesn't matter. Who actually cares about that? We're talking about the leader of the free world. When you go speak with Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Volodymyr Zelensky, all these people, world leaders, Javier Milei, all these people, you think they really care about this kind of stuff? About black fraternities and sororities? Do you think they really, really care about that? Does it even matter? I don't even care about that. I don't even care about that for real. Shout out to everybody that's in a frat or you're a soror. I'm not nothing against no disrespect. No disrespect. But I never cared about that even when I was in college. When I was in college, I saw guys that would do that as corny. I'm sorry. You guys who were doing that, if you pledged in college, I have nothing against you. But when I was in college, I thought that was corny. So what do you think world leaders think?
Come on now.
Come on now.
Game.
Oh my God,
Game
that just
changer.
gave me chills. That gave
Rocky.
me chills.
Game changer, dog.
Game.
Man,
Talk about game.
y'all better come
Go
get
to
me off
sports
this
'cause
radio
you
today.
better come get him.
Hey, you can keep going. You want to keep
Today.
going, dog? You want to keep
Today.
going?
Oh,
They ain't gonna be mad at you today, Rick. Hey,
I don't care. Well, stop the minute.
Go, dog. Go. Go.
I don't care about who get mad. I know I'm right.
Exactly.
I know I'm right. Y'all need to stop. Do y'all realize Medgar Evers died for voting rights? All these people that have risked
Voting rights? What are we talking about? The right to vote is not in jeopardy.
their alive from slavery up until the civil rights movement, just where we can have an opportunity to do what we do, to do what we can do. We ain't seen nothing like this since Barack Obama was running for president in 2008. We need to stop.
Man, look, put some respect on Barack Obama's name. I am not a Barack Obama fan. If Obama ran today, I would never in my life vote for him. Same thing for his wife or anybody from that camp, any Democrat, anything like that, I'm good. But Barack Obama was a whole phenomenon. Kamala Harris is being forced upon us because the guy they really wanted to be in there is about to be dead.
The great John Lewis.
Right. John Lewis
Now, what did John Lewis actually do for this country? Aside from walk with the man who was the man. What did John Lewis do? Can we talk about that for a second? He's a civil rights legend. How? What did he do?
Ralph Abernathy. All of these.
You just naming these old black people that don't matter anymore. I'm done. I'm getting triggered. People gonna get offended. I don't even care. People gonna get offended. So what? Do something to me. That's what I say. Do something to me. Don't nobody. I've never seen somebody get offended at me and then approach me in person. And I've been in places where people, I'm going to be there. I never had a problem. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing, man, because I'm not saying anything that's wrong. Imagine somebody approaching you because you made a critical statement about a figure in black history. Really, you're going to risk your life over that? That's dumb. That's dumb. Now, another comedian, Pierre, y'all know who he is, but I just want to see what he has to say. Y'all don't know this guy. Some of you guys might know him, but a lot of y'all don't know him, and that's okay. But I just want to hear what these people that all know each other and have platforms are talking about.
Man, I got to thinking about black men who just refuse to vote for Kamala. Just refuse.
That's me.
Try to hide it under something else. They can't even verbalize why they can refuse, man. But she on some bullshit. As in, he's not. He's proven his bullshit, but it's okay. I think it really comes from a mental state. You're still a prisoner of the system. You still don't believe women can control stuff. Even black women can run something. You just don't see that. See, because we're men. Men feel like they need to see other men leading stuff. I'm a man. And a lot of black men still envy white men. Yeah, you heard that. You heard what I said. Envy white men. Look at them as masters. Because most of the white men you come in contact with are your bosses.
Oh.
Yeah. are your bosses. And so you feel like, hey, if it's white, you gotta be the boss. And most black women, black men that you come in contact with are not in a, major position. Comparatively speaking to white.
I mean, look, you trying to just, Pierre, I'm gonna stop this in a minute. You are attacking the individuals and trying to psychoanalyze them without even knowing them. Like you've not even met this person you're speaking about. You're just spitballing because in this moment you're talking to black men who don't want to vote Kamala. That includes me, but you don't know me at all. You don't even know my name. You don't even know I exist. So you're just saying stuff, and a lot of that is projection. White man always got to be the boss. Since when? The last time I worked for the white man, and by the way, shout out to my main man, Mr. Kulik at Old Country Buffet. That was my man. He always had my back because I was young and I was crazy. Mr. Kulik always had my back. Shout out to him. Good people. When I was in high school and college, that's the last time I worked for the so-called white man. Ever since then, I've been independent, self-employed since 22 years old, and I'll be 40 this year. How about you, Pierre? Where is this coming from? Where is this kind of talk coming from? I don't understand. It's kind of weird. And if you work for the white man, green man, or whatever, so what? You work in the job, you work making an honest living. Making an honest living, I don't see nothing wrong with that. It's better than 10 for the big guy. It's better than doing stuff like that. It's better than being the crackhead who got discharged from the military, getting a job overseas, getting paid 50 grand a month at a gas company when he has no experience and energy at all. Burisma Holdings. It's better than doing that. But therefore, Kamala, so it's okay. All right.
White guys. So you can't even believe a sister could do that. I mean, a black girl, she do it. She just better, be a secretary or do some little menial job or something like that.
Okay, so I think I had enough. You're talking about men and women. It's not even about that. I don't care. Like, if you could be a woman and be in leadership, that's typically not how it happens, but you can be. I mean, I don't really care. Whoever the best person is, if it happens to be a woman, a man, a green space alien, so what? It's not even about that. Kamala specifically is a moron. And Kamala was part of the Biden administration, and I didn't want Biden either. So if I don't want to vote for Biden, what's the excuse? Maybe he thinks that Kamala is somehow different than Joe Biden. She's not. She's not, because at the end of the day, it won't be her running the show, the same as Biden did not run the show. It'd be those behind the scenes, the permanent staff, people they bring on, the mainstream media, of course, because that's the fourth branch of government, mainstream media. You get executive, legislative, judicial, and mainstream media. That's the fourth branch of the government. Okay, that's how that works. This person is over here and on Capitol Hill. They're an intern, or they work for a senator, or they are a senator. They're a congressman. They do X, Y, and Z for this person, and then their cousin, their wife, their sister works for MSNBC or CBS. That's how it works. They're the fourth branch of government. Okay, but let me continue here. The Secret Service, speaking about women in power. Hey, it just happens to be this is a young lady, but I've seen some of the men do some dumb things too, like that sniper team. I don't know what was going on top of that roof in Butler, Pennsylvania. How did you see this guy up on the roof, shimmying around, doing whatever he wants to do, and then they wait until he fires the weapon to shoot him? I don't understand. So incompetence is not gender specific, but this young lady right here broke into a salon in Massachusetts, and it's a Secret Service member. She tapes over the actual camera so you can't see who's coming in and out. I mean, do they just do this normally? Can you just commandeer someone's place like this without asking? Now, some are going to say, oh, it's for security purposes, ABL. It's for security. They got to break in because they can't let people know where they're going to be. Well, look, Trump will do a rally and let everybody know where he's going to be. Or he'll visit like the Chick-fil-A and let everybody know in advance. So maybe they're trying to say it's for Secret Service specifically, but I'm not really buying it. And I don't know why they blurred her face, because we can all see, you know what I'm saying? We can see who did it. It wasn't no point. Here she comes with the chair and gets right on top of the chair and, hey, wave me to the camera right quick. I don't know who blurred it because we already seen the picture, but get the little duct tape. Just put that on top of the sensor. And my thing is this. Why would anyone do this? Hold on, what we got? I guess did they come in? Yeah, I guess they came in. They used this little area, the salon. They used that for like 2 hours, and after they were done, they just left it open. It just left it open. So they broke in. The lady Secret Service, she took she jimmied the lock, old school style, jimmied the lock, and broke in and just used it for a couple hours. Hey, Spirit and 9 says, WTF, why they do this? No gas stations within 100 miles. Hey, man, they got to have somewhere nice. So they saw the salon. This is a nice place. I'm sure they got a nice ambiance and a clean bathroom. Let's go ahead and use that spot. Let's just go break in. That's crazy. I mean, I'm sure if they were to ask the salon owner, hey, can we use your spot for today? We'll pay X amount of money. They would have done it. But yeah, that's Secret Service for you. Now, speaking about Kamala, going back to her. Okay. Now, I don't want Kamala or JD Waltz. And if it was the other way around, I feel the exact same way. If it was JD Waltz with Kamala, I don't want that. If what's his name? I'm saying JD Waltz. I'm thinking about JD Vance. Tim. If Tim Waltz was a president candidate and Kamala was a VP pick, I would not want a JD Waltz. I'm thinking about the other vice president. If Tim Waltz was to run with Kamala as his running mate, I would still not want to vote for him. If Tim Waltz was able to duplicate himself and run with himself, I still wouldn't want to vote for him, period. But stuff like this really kind of sets it in stone. Tampon Tim Waltz, that's correct. That's how I remember. The T stands for tampon and Tim Waltz. So here we got a little bit of team building. We have the Cringe Crusaders of the United States. You have Doug Emhoff. I recognize him. You have Kamala, and you have Tampon Tim right there in the center.
When?
So yeah, who's voting for that right there? The cringe factor is off the chain, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait until the debates. Look, listen, I'm going to stream every debate. I don't care. I'm streaming all of them. By hook or by crook, I'm going to stream all the debates. They're talking about it might be 3 debates. I hope it is. That'd be great. And I want to see the VP debates. I want to see Tampon Tim go up against, what's my man's name? JD Vance. Tampon Tim and JD Vance. I want to see that. JD Vance will stomp Tampon Tim into the finest of wines. And the Kamala Trump debate will be pure comedy. Pure, if you could take comedy from the air and put it into a glass bottle, that's what those debates are going to be. Guaranteed. Because Kamala is goofy. She'll be cackling for no reason. Look, I'll tell you this. Yes, I can read that hard target. I just happened to catch it. And my train of thought just went away. Thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be really good. Oh, here's what I wanted to say. If Trump cracks a joke on stage, I think Kamala will laugh because she can't help herself. Every time I see Kamala, she's just in a perpetual state of goofiness. And she can't help it. I don't know what they're doing on the Democratic side. Can we get some guys that are groomed from birth like Barack Obama to be politicians? Okay, can we get some of these guys? Look, send them to Indonesia to stay with their Asian stepdad, and then send them to live with their white grandparents in Hawaii. Okay, that's the formula right there. Kamala, I don't know what was going on with her. She in the house eating all type of curry and naan bread and spicy food. And Tampon Tim, I don't know what he was doing over there shucking corn in Nebraska. I don't know what's happening, but these people are not very good to be leaders of the world. Let's get some more groomed characters, Barack Obamas, get some more royal families to come in here and produce leaders. Because these guys, man, these bottom of the barrel you're scraping. Okay, let's keep on rocking and rolling. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. And we got a few reasons why we don't want to vote Kamala here. One thing is she's a open borders person, same as Tampon Tim. And for you guys who don't know, the reason why we calling him Tampon Tim is because as governor of Minnesota, he allowed for tampons to go into boys' bathrooms in K through 12 public schools. So yeah, tampons in the boys' bathroom, I think not. Tampon Tim.
Hi, my name is Sally Hartman. I'm a volunteer with the Center for Worker Justice. Okay. I want to know, when you become president, would you be committing to close immigration detention centers?
Absolutely, on day one. On day one. And thank you for.
So she wants to close immigration detention centers on day one. So are the migrants that are currently in the country are just going to balloon? They're going to balloon because you can't arrest anybody. You can't detain anybody. Just let them go through. Just let them get to the interior. Give them a court date in 10 years. Yeah, they're going to show up for that. By the time the court date get here, they didn't already had a baby and everything. They're not going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. They probably already got, by the time 10 years hit, they're going to have about 5, 6 kids. One of the kids going to be driving the truck down MLK with all kind of coronas in the back. You're not going to stop nothing, man. Like, it's a joke. It really is. So if you want open borders, you know who to vote for. Just like my man was at 2K when I was on Anton's stream. Shout out to Anton. And I was saying that Kamala is supposed to be the border czar, and you see what's happening with the border. Therefore, she's not doing her job. But what he said was, hey, maybe that is her job, to keep the border open. And if that's the case, then that what she just said, it proves it. You want to keep the border open to keep the illegal aliens pouring on in. Now, here is Kamala stealing what Donald Trump said. We all know that Trump was the guy that introduced the no tax on tips proposal. He said that, he introduced it. We got video evidence of him saying it first. And here's Kamala just straight taking it.
Including to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
To destroy Social Security. I am going to leave Social Security. I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age. I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security for seniors. I'm also doing no tax on tips. No tax on tips. So waiters, waitresses, caddies, people that drive cars, people that get tips who have been harassed by this government, we're going to have no tax on tips. That's a big thing.
Including to raise.
So, I mean, he said it first. She took it. And minimum wage is the oldest, dumbest argument. Listen, the minimum wage federally has not risen in a very long time. But it doesn't matter because the states are having their own wages. And also the wages are determined by the market. So some of your very far left places like California, what's the minimum wage now? What, $20 an hour? And I think, what do they say? I think it's just for certain fast food restaurants where it's $20 an hour or 25, some kind of crazy number. But I know it's at least $20 an hour for fast food, bare minimum 20. Hold on, matter of fact, let me see. Minimum wage. So it's $16.50 minimum, but if you are a fast food worker, it's higher. It's $20 an hour for fast food workers for some fast food joints. Now, if your name is Gavin Newsom or his high school classmate, or pardon me, not high school classmate, they didn't go to school at the same time, but his friend who went to the same high school as him, put it to you that way. If you're one of those guys, you get an exemption on the restaurants that you own. That was crazy. Like, they put in an exemption for like this crazy law. If you make a piece of bread in a bakery and sell it as an individual item, then you're exempt from the higher fast food worker minimum wage requirement. And that just so happened to affect Gavin Newsom's restaurants that he has stakes in, or he owns outright. I'm not sure which one. And also a friend of his who went to the exact same high school. So the minimum wage argument is a joke. It really is. The wages are determined by the market, by the money that's in the area, the supply, demand. It's basic economy stuff. I'm not saying anything that's really groundbreaking or new, but these politicians keep the average normie in a perpetual state of ignorance. Most people don't really study things like this. As long as they know how to do their job and kind of just function on the basic level, they're going to just do that, and that's it. They won't really think too much beyond what they learn in high school, maybe even college, about this kind of stuff. And that's okay to a certain extent, but at a certain point, if you don't know a lot about something and you need to know a lot about it, you should get educated on it. All right. But yeah, shout out to you guys. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, Valerie Jane, how much does a living wage pay? And to answer my own question, ain't no such thing as a living wage. A living wage is whatever you think you need to live. And what I think I need is not the same thing as my next door neighbor. I don't have any kids. I'm a single man. I don't have any kids. Okay. Now my neighbor got kids and a wife and everything else. A whole family to raise. Little kids, babies, and everything else. What he needs is different than what I need. He is a single earner, and I'm by myself. What we need is different. So there's no such thing as living wage. And what I think I need is different than what you think you need, even if we're in the same boat. We can have the same expenses, the same liabilities, the same responsibilities, but what I think I need is different than what you think you need. You think you need trips to the salon, hair weave, nails, all that kind of good stuff. You think you need a vacation every 6 months to go out of the country, to spend 2 weeks out there and not have it hurt you financially. You think you need that. So for you, your living wage is not the same as mine. I can live on a very small amount of money. Can you do the same? People a lot of times wind up in financial situations because they don't understand how to deal with money. They think that unimportant things like going on a trip. I've known people in my real life that'll go on a trip. I'm reading your comments. Yes, I am. I do read the comments, Valerie. But people will go on a trip out of the country with no money in the bank at all. They'll be overdraft. They got $5 in the bank at best. And it might be in the negative, but then they go overseas and they come back. It's the first of the month and the rent is not available. Well, maybe you should have been working rather than going on a trip to get the money for the, but people don't think that way. Again, whatever you need is what you need, and it's your opinion, and that's it. But I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Oh yeah, and something else. That's one thing. It depends on where you live. I'm in Tennessee. Somebody asked where I live. I'm in Tennessee. If you live in Southern California or something like this, that's why I said my next door neighbor, because we're right here in the same place. But you're in a different part of the country, forget about it. You're living in Los Angeles, you living in New York City, Manhattan, or something crazy like that, man, please. If you're living in Manhattan, you pretty much got to sell crack for a living in order to make it, because how are you going to pay for all this stuff? And matter of fact, you can't even sell crack no more. You got to sell something else, man. You got to sell, I don't know what the high yield is. You better sell internet to people. You better strike a gold mine or discover oil in your backyard, like the Clampets or something. You better be the Beverly Hillbillies with it, okay? discovering some Texas tea up under your feet. Because if you don't have any kind of money like that, I don't know how you're going to afford. Look, they're charging you money to come to Manhattan at a certain time of the day. What's it like, $15? I would never. All right, let's keep on moving here. If you like what you're hearing, you know what to do. Let's keep on going. We got some more here. Oh, speaking about California and how expensive things are, let's check this out. Here's your man, Gavin. And speaking about cost of living, hold on. Before I get to what Gavin said about some expenses in California, he has a photographer, and the photographer pays a lot of money. He gets paid. The photographer gets paid a lot of money. The photographer didn't pay us or you guys out there as California residents if you live out there. But check it out. Gavin Newsom employs $200,000 official photographer at taxpayers' expense. California's Democrat governor hires former war photojournalist known for his work with Barack Obama to help improve his national profile. Oh, ABL, Trump is Hitler, Trump is Putin, Trump is ba-ba-ba-ba-da-da-da. Okay, this right here kind of reminds me of the kind of things that these old Eastern European guys would do. So is that a picture right there? Is that one of the photos? is that it right there? When you were in China, of course. When you're going to hang out with Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party and the Great Wall of China, you got to look your best. You got on your signature aviator lenses, get your little white linen shirt, white linen. That's a nice restaurant name. It kind of sounds like the place you went to, French Laundry, where you were at with the doctors during COVID-19. The state was locked down, but you weren't. But you got to look your best when you are in front of the public eye. How can I go back to Los Angeles looking crazy? I got to look my absolute best. So we're going to hire a photographer for $200,000. So, yeah, you got to do stuff like that to make it out in California. You got to pretty much rob the taxpayer, barefaced, no pistol. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it. Hold on. Here's more pictures. Since we're going to just see how much, what kind of quality will $200,000 get you? And is that going to be annual? That's probably an annual salary, but maybe not. But no matter of fact, not even annual. He'll probably just be there for a while. Okay. And he'll probably just be there for a while, a little short contract. Let me see. Yeah, and check it out. The photographer's salary is almost as high as Gavin Newsom's, which is $231,101. $234,000 Gavin Newsom gets paid, and the photog gets paid almost the same amount. All right, so that's that right there. But yeah, these are the pictures. Are there more? Nah, that's a photographer right here. That's the guy. Omani. He describes himself as a creative executive with deep knowledge of building visual narratives for executives and global organizations. That's like Chat GPT language right there. They don't really mean nothing. So yeah, hey, California, that's your governor, ain't it? But let's go back to him talking about the question was, why is my electricity bill so high in California? And let's see his answer.
Now, as far as on the energy topic, I live in Woodland, and I'm actually a customer of Valley Clean Energy. And I can tell you my power bills have not gone down. And I'm curious, when should California see some financial benefit to this transformation to renewables?
Well, I think we have. That wind, the water and solar has kept prices down. This is the cheapest form of energy right out here, this technology. It's had a significant impact on what you don't see. Our nation-leading climate policies have also had a significant impact of rebating customers, including $146 just this month that will be going out on average to customers, millions and millions of customers through our cap and trade program to offset their utility costs. Our nation-leading energy efficiency program allows me to lay claim to this fact. It's been PolitiFact. You can check it as well. to the fact that California has lower residential utility bills than states like Texas, states like Florida, and others that tout or mislead you with information that, with respect, is not or should not be in evidence because of the energy efficiency programs in this state.
So Gavin says that it's all good. Don't worry about it. It's no problems. It's all good. Okay, that's what he says right now. But look, we got a fact check from the Twitter people, and it says readers added context they thought people might want to know. And it says Gavin's information about the cost of energy in California being cheaper than Florida or Texas is factually wrong. So California costs 34 cents per kilowatt hour. Florida costs 13 cents per kilowatt hour. And Texas, 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Also, electricity costs have raised in California from 2023 to 2024. And they got a link to verify it. So, yeah, California, everybody knows it's expensive in California. Everybody knows that. It's not a secret. It's not even a thing to it's not a thing to try and argue. Everybody, it's a settled fact. You know, it is what it is. Let's keep on going here. If you like what you're hearing so far, y'all please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right. Now, let's get to some voters and their opinion about Joe and Kamala. Now, you know what I think happened here? Maybe I said it at the beginning of the stream, but I'm going to say it one more time. I think, because we're going to show two videos. The first is from CNN. The second is from MSNBC. And they're both in Pennsylvania interviewing voters. I think what happened here was they were supposed to have Josh Shapiro. So since it was going to be Josh Shapiro as a VP pick for Kamala, and of course, Josh Shapiro is the governor of Pennsylvania, they were going to have these talk with Pennsylvania voters to double down on what Kamala did. Because the whole point is to try and get Pennsylvania, because it's a battleground state. They want to turn that state from red to blue or make it be blue this time. So it was all laid out. They had the plan. Okay, Josh Shapiro, he'll be your VP. He'll have the hometown advantage. Then we're going to put this whole big blitz from the mainstream media. We're going to interview Pennsylvania voters who will be sympathetic to you and your cause. It'll be great. But since they don't have Josh Shapiro and they still had these specials or whatever aired or recorded, they went ahead and aired it. That's probably what happened. All right. And of course, the other elephant in the room, thank you, Greg, is that Josh Shapiro is Jewish and the Democrats have an anti-Semitism problem right now in the party. So that was an unpopular pick. So they had to go to the second or third or fourth or fifth option, Tampon Tim Walz.
Bucks County, Pennsylvania. This covered bridge, a local treasure. Michael Pacey often stops along the trail here to fish and to think. Not a great time to be a Reagan Republican. Pacey supported Nikki Haley, but won't vote for Donald Trump.
So this guy is, from according to him, a Reagan Republican, but he voted Nikki Haley before. And then he said he's not going to go vote Trump. He's going to vote Kamala, if I'm not mistaken. How do you go from Ronald Reagan to Kamala Harris? I'm not buying that one.
Ever. And he sees Kamala Harris as more liberal than he would like.
I have doubts about her. She's going to be tied to the Biden record regardless of what she says or what she does.
Does it impact your calculation for what you do?
No, it doesn't change anything at all. I'm still not going to vote for Trump regardless. So I'm not excited about voting for Kamala Harris, but it's better than the alternative.
Every vote counts, though, enthusiastic or not. Big margins in the suburbs that surround Philadelphia are critical for Democrats. Bucks is more blue-collar and, of late, the most competitive of the collar counties.
If I were here the day after the debate and I asked you, do you think Biden could win Pennsylvania, you would have said,
no way. There would have been no way.
Do you think Harris can win Pennsylvania?
I think she can. I think the energy she's brought to the campaign, the fact that she's a woman and women's rights are going to be a big deal here in Pennsylvania, and I think that's kind of where Pennsylvania will go.
Berks County is more rural and more Trumpy, just outside the suburban collar. But margins matter everywhere in the battlegrounds. Joan London is an attorney for local governments.
Bloom Farm zoning permit status. We had a meeting this morning, very productive meeting.
London cast a primary vote for Haley, then switched her registration to independent. She worries about Trump's coarse tone and what she sees as angry populism. A new worry since our last visit in May. Trump running mate J.D. Vance. No cats, but married and childless. Now, even more proud she left the GOP.
So let's pause here. Somebody said it in the comments. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I kind of lost it. But what's happening here? Oh, somebody said that the first guy was an actor. I was thinking the same thing. Could be an actor, just a straight up actor. And I think what they do sometimes with these panels, they have a mixture of actors and real people. And the actors, they probably give more screen time because they are more believable on camera. At least that's what they think. Although I don't really believe anything they put on TV. But I want you to see what they're showing you, trying to convince you that a thing is true when it's probably not true. The whole cat ladies comment probably wasn't that big of a deal, but the media are going to blow it up. And they're going to try to play on the emotions of women that may be single with no children. That's how the media does. The media also attacks you through advertisements for products and through scripted TV shows. It's a lot of things they put in all forms of their media. They put in front of your face.
I've led a very full life that way, and to say I don't have a stake in the future of the country, I had some difficulty with that, and all I could think of, Senator Vance, are you going to tell Ann Coulter or Condoleezza Rice or Elizabeth Dole that they're miserable cat ladies? I don't think so.
London plans to write in a conservative, but she leaves the Harris window open just a crack.
If Donald Trump or J.D. Vance really says something so outrageously offensive, that could drive me to vote for Vice President Harris. But it's highly unlikely. She doesn't represent my values, my beliefs about policy.
Media.
So yeah, there's more there, but of course, like I said, Pennsylvania, battleground state, they probably trying to do this to get more people to try and turn the state in their favor. It was a whole plan they had laid out. Like I said, mainstream media, fourth branch of the government. Now, this is in Philly with the black vote. So they had the whites, now they got the blacks.
Does everybody know who they're voting for? Or is anybody undecided still?
I'm very undecided.
Undecided.
Right now.
Now, this video really kind of got me because the things they were talking about, it kind of triggered me because people always talk about how do you fix the community? What are some of the solutions? Solutions. I've been hearing that same thing since I've been a real young guy in college and things like this 20 years ago. So it's always the same thing, but nobody really wants to do what has to be done. Nobody wants to do what has to be done, but I'm going to let them speak and then I'll respond.
Inflation. So I'm monitoring who's talking the most about inflation. Re-entry. I would like to see everyone who is a criminal with federal charges still be able to vote. If we can have a criminal for president, we need to allow some voting rights back that were taken illegally.
So if you guys don't know, re-entry refers to people that have been locked up, being able to come back to society and have certain things that can help them succeed and not recidivize, basically helping guys that come home from prison.
In the first place.
How hard has inflation hit you?
It hit me hard. It's hitting me hard.
Who do you blame for it?
I blame the federal government at this point. If a working class mom who works as a paralegal cannot buy a $2 bell pepper because it's now $5, imagine a mother living on food stamps. Imagine a mother who's making minimum wage trying to feed children.
Now, look, I understand her pain here, but as I was saying in my video, it's not even the people that's at the bottom of the totem pole, like the bottom, the people that like to smoke crack for a living, people that are just very poor because you got a lot of government benefits. You got EBT with, you saw the guy in the subway trying to get a Subway sandwich with the EBT card. He didn't look to be that bad and struggling and, messed up. The people that don't have anything, the people that live off the government, they are going to do their thing. The middle class is the one that you're being squeezed out of the middle class. And it's like you're being forced to just go super hard, burn yourself out to become a trillionaire in like California or something like this in New York City. And if you don't do that, then you're going to be amongst the ranks of the poor, living on government benefits, never owning anything. It's a big divide between the rich and the poor, and you create a bigger divide between the two by destroying the middle class. There'll be no middle. Either you got it or you don't. That's their objective in these leftist areas and with the leftist government, in my humble opinion. Eat the bugs, 15-minute cities, whatever they call them, no cars. We'll take care of everything for you. Just get on a train and don't worry about where you're going. That's the mentality here.
They're killing us without killing us. If you understand that. They're killing us without telling us they're killing us. They're hurting people in ways that they can't help themselves. It's either feed my child or how about feed my children and I don't, but I have to go work.
Who feels as if black voters are taken for granted, i.e., they make you promises and they don't deliver? What do you care about most right now?
What are they going to do for my people that lives in the communities where I am from?
Trump tried with the platinum plan. Hey, black folks, it's 2019. I'm your president, Donald Trump. Get me in there one more time. I have the platinum plan. We're talking about $500 billion with a B, $500 billion we're going to divert to your community to help things go along, to help things go to where they got to go. That was a platinum plan. But y'all said, no, we don't want to do that. We're going to vote for the other white man, Joe Biden, who has promised us nothing. When asked, hey, what are you going to do for us, Joe Biden, on the Breakfast Club, he said, hey, man, look, if you don't know whether you're voting for me or for Trump, you're not even black. Don't worry about what I'm going to do for y'all. Just vote for me because you're black. He said that on camera, right in the black man's face, and y'all still went out there and voted for him. So rather than saying, what are you going to do for my people? What are you going to do for yourself? You can't even vote right. Like, let's get that tightened up first. And then we can start, asking about certain things like this. But you can't ask for things when you don't do anything to improve your own situation, at least not when it comes to the voting.
The gun violence is second in my mind. But it's what can they do for us? How can they help? How can they go into a home and help that family to save their children? We need the funding. We want the help. But in my opinion, it starts at home.
It starts at home. Jaleel, what about you? What is most important to you right now?
Economics, education, reentry, reform.
Reentry to the criminal justice system.
Exactly. We need to see.
Everybody said money. Everybody said money. The inflation. What are you going to do for us? We need funding, economics. Everybody wants money. But the guy who said, I got $500 billion, nah, that's racist. All right. You probably don't need it. You don't need the money that bad.
Save ourselves.
That's right.
If we're looking for somebody to save us, it's not going to happen.
If you look at Philadelphia and you took the most impoverished areas in Philadelphia and then you took the crime rate where the most crime is happening in Philadelphia and you laid it right there, it would almost match up perfectly. Mm-hmm. So if you're seeing that much of a correlation between poverty and crime, you have to address that on some level. If we invest in our schools, invest in our youth, we will see some changes there.
The way I would articulate.
Like the whole thing about money, everybody focus on money as a way to help the crime rate. That's not going to help anything. You can't throw money at the situation that's happening in a place like Philly and expect things to get better. You think that if you just shower the community with money, that the guys who are deleting each other over nothing at 14 years old are going to stop? Think about that for a minute. All they're going to do is get bigger guns with more switches and more ammunition because it's the mentality. You could be from a poor area and not be a criminal. You could be very poor person and not be a criminal. you're a criminal because you want to be a criminal, and or you get to be 18 years old, or you're even 14 years old. You don't have any money. You living in a bad area because people around you are bad, and you have no direction, no guidance in your life, no male figures, no control, just a bunch of brainless kids that can't even read at 14 out there just doing whatever they want to do. Just complete nonsense. And the money argument is so dumb, man. I've heard about guys getting deleted over girls. I saw a guy get shot, killed on the dance floor of a nightclub over a girl. I know probably at least 2 guys that got shot over a girl. They ain't died. I know one guy that died, and the other ones, they lived over a girl. The one guy I didn't know him personally, but the 2 guys I knew them personally. Put it to you that way. What's poverty got to do with that? I don't understand. So to answer somebody's question earlier, somebody said, what's got to be done in these communities with the crime and the violence? You got to go hard, man, on the criminals. The crime bill from Joe Biden was criticized, but it was necessary. The leaders of the community begged for it. Now, obviously, it shouldn't have gotten to that point, but it did get to that point. The crime and violence in the community in the late 80s, early 90s was the worst ever. The worst ever. This, I was on the podcast with Andre Hatchett. Shout out to him. He was asking me, what was the worst period of time for black folks in the United States? And I said slavery, of course. And he said beyond slavery. I'm like, the crack era, the crack wars. It was bad. It was real bad in the crack war time. So the crime bill ended the crack war, in my opinion, because what it did was lock up all the people that were committing a lot of the crime. Now, unfortunately, it was so wide sweeping that you got guys that were just like regular dealers and they weren't even really violent. They got them a lot of time in the penitentiary to make big rocks, little rocks. But a lot of those guys needed to be in the penitentiary forever. Or if it was me, again, I couldn't really be, if I was a king and I could just do whatever I want to do, man, listen, you want to terrorize the community, shooting little kids, women, all kind of stuff like that, reckless behavior, you get deleted right there. If we got evidence you did it, witnesses, videotape, you're a repeat offender, you get deleted. 3 strikes and you die. How about that? I'm just playing for the YouTube censors, but I'm so serious. I am so serious because it's the same people all the time that do the same thing. They get a slap on their wrist. They might not even get caught. Don't nobody want to tell. Stop snitching. And they keep doing the same thing over and over again. The parents are dumb themselves. They're retarded. They don't know how to read. The kids are the same way. And it's a cycle. Brainless, idiots, illiterate. All they know, but they know how to shoot. They shoot their gun real well. Well, not really well. They'll shoot the gun well enough. They'll hit an innocent bystander, a little kid or something like this, and nobody cares. So the solution to that problem, go very hard on the criminals. They were talking about they want gun laws, gun control. What more do you want? We got background checks. People that say stuff like this, they'll say we want background checks. You already got background checks. Have you ever bought a gun before? When you buy a gun, the 1994 crime bill, well, in that same time, you had 1993, the Brady Act that Biden signed into law. Now, or he helped get into law. Now, unfortunately for us, and luckily for him, his son is kind of immune from the Brady Act, I suppose. Maybe he might not be, I don't know, but that's a different story. The Brady Act created the background check system, a federal system. It's a federal law. Go in the gun store, you got to do a background check. It's simple. What's that going to do for the criminals who don't care about laws, who will get guns from other countries, who will steal your gun? They'll do whatever, and you'll be the victim. They run in your house. It's 3 or 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them, they're high on drugs, got their guns, and you have nothing because you want to be a law-abiding citizen, right? You want to obey the gun control laws. So now you just completely caught what they say, you got caught slipping, you got caught lacking, you got caught vulnerable because you don't have any weapons to protect yourself. That's not good. So, and then they'll say that the federal government is the reason why inflation is so high. So the federal government, you've identified them as a problem, but then when it comes to this whole gun law kerfuffle, you want to go back to them for that. But they can't get the economy right. They can't get some of these basic services right. They can't get the border right, but they're going to get gun control right. Okay, cool. Great. Yeah, and on top of that, the kids in the street got better firepower than you can get legally. Even with the gun control laws or even without them. You can't buy a machine gun in this country legally unless you got a tax stamp and it's an old machine gun, but you can't just walk into Academy of Sports and get a machine gun. Okay, you got to call the feds basically and say, hey, can I get a tax stamp? Can I become, FFA? Can I do all that to get my machine gun? Anyway, I digress. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Let's get to the actual talk with Elon Musk. That was a really good talk. I really enjoyed it. Shout out to you guys who were here on Monday for the talk. I appreciate y'all for joining me. I really, really do. What we got to see right here first before we get to the talk is some of the reaction from the media. And I said it during the actual event. I already knew that the media was not going to like this too much. Look at some of the headlines. Trump rambles, slurs his way through Elon Musk interview. It was an unmitigated disaster. That's USA Today. The Independent. Trump repeats same old talking points in Musk interview, but lisp steals the show. Now, I don't know what was happening with the lisp or whatever they're talking about. To me, the sound was like he was dehydrated and was getting ready to go to sleep. That's kind of like, it was kind of, you hear a lot of spit going around. So I think it was just him being dehydrated personally. Some said he had dentures and they weren't really fitting properly. I don't know. But he was able to speak for a good 2 hours. Now, I don't think Kamala can speak 2 seconds without cackling her head off. So I'd like to see her do a 2-hour sit down podcast type situation with anybody. It could be a friendly person, an unfriendly person, or whatever. But let's do it with somebody. Like, you're not even taking questions from the press at all. Okay, you going to some random place in the country and you get on the plane and they're asking questions and you refusing to answer. It's a mess. Okay. But yeah, you see the headlines here. Okay, what else? CNN fact check. Trump made at least 20 false claims in his conversation with Elon Musk. That's something else that they do. The astroturfing. I'll say that before with the astroturf. Basically, they will push a certain narrative with a campaign. It's like a media campaign to push a narrative. That's basically the good way to defend what astroturfing is. And it's the same thing right here. They want to astroturf this whole thing about Trump being a liar. That's what they want to do. You see it right here. CBS says Donald Trump's meandering live chat with Elon Musk on X plagued with glitches. Musk claims were from DDoS attack. So what happened was there was DDoS attacks, and what that is, making a long story short, you have hackers, quote unquote, that are trying to disrupt the stream. So that's how that goes. Okay, they're trying to disrupt the stream by trying to render the website inoperable. So for a while, when the audio stream was posted, people couldn't get in and it was just a mess. But they got it figured out. It was going to start at 8 o'clock, but it wound up being about 8:45-ish maybe. It was after 8:30, but a bit before 8:45. And I was here a total of 3 hours, during the stream. So I think the first half hour or so, they were trying to get it together. They spoke for a good 2 hours. And then the remaining time was me reading super chats and saying, my closing. But they spoke for most of the time. I thought it was pretty good. Some said that Elon was weird and all this and that and the third. But Elon's been the exact same as long as I remember him being out in the public speaking. He's spoken the exact same way. All right, but let's check it out. We got quite a few clips. I won't play them all.
We had a great conversation yesterday. As you mentioned yesterday, if we could just record that conversation and post it, it would have been excellent. And I hope we can have something like that today.
Well, I think we will. I'm pretty sure we will. And congratulations, because I see you broke every record in the book with so many millions of people, and it's an honor. We view that as an honor.
We had a great.
So you kind of heard the little list or whatever. Again, that sounds like to me dehydration, but that's not really a big deal. I've heard him do that before during the campaign. It's not really a big deal at all. What's most impressive is that he was able to be up and attentive and alert and sharp on the call for 2 hours. That's the most important thing. But of course, mainstream media focuses on the wrong thing because they have an agenda to push.
One of the miracles was that nobody ran. I mean, if a gun goes off, the crowd control people showed us this. When guns go off, and it does happen in stadiums at a soccer match or some kind of a match, everybody flees. They call it a stampede, like cattle. But everybody, and a lot of people get killed with those stampedes. We had more people than you'd have at, some of these matches or these games, and nobody left. You had a small group behind us in the grandstand, and that was full. And you look at it as it was taking place, and normally they'd be running. They didn't leave. They saw that I was hurt. They saw a lot of blood, and they saw that I went down. And it's almost like they wanted to be with me. Well, out front, you had thousands, tens of thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you had people in Butler, as far as the eye could see. And a lot of press, too. There were, many cameras on watching this. It's what makes it so different, because normally things happen that aren't good, but you never have a picture of it. Here we have all these cameras shooting it. So, sort of amazing. But one of the interesting things was that you didn't have anybody flee. You didn't have anybody stampede. Nobody. And there were some people behind me. They stood up and they're looking like, I'll tell you, you want to have them in a foxhole with you. I want to meet some of those people.
So yeah, that's Trump talking about the whole Butler situation, and that was a topic of conversation for a good while in the beginning. They spoke about the whole assassination attempt, Butler, Pennsylvania. That was a thing that they really focused on. I was like, all right, I appreciate it, but let's move on to some more here. But it was important for them to talk about that because that was a really serious thing. Assassination attempt, you can't just gloss over that. Because that doesn't happen anymore. The last time that happened was Reagan back in 1981. So you're talking about a thing that was, 43 years ago, the last time this kind of thing happened? And, of course, there was big security failures. Some say it was on purpose. I'm not going to say it was on purpose, but there was something going on. Okay, and then here's Elon saying you can't fake bravery. You can't fake bravery. What you did was very brave.
Like what I find admirable there was that you can't fake bravery under such circumstances. The courage is instinctual or it is not. It's not a rehearsed action. And so I just want to say that I think a lot of people admire your courage under fire there. And so
thank you very much. I appreciate it. I didn't think of it. I just wanted to get up and I wanted to stand up. I wanted to let people know, I felt I was good when they were on top of me, covering me, actually, very much covering me and very bravely. But I wanted to get up. I said, I want to get up. And they wanted, they have everything there. They wanted stretcher. I didn't like the stretcher. And I knew I was hit in the ear, but I knew I wasn't hit anywhere else. They felt I was hit someplace else because it was such a lot of blood. And they were sure that I was hit someplace else. And they were saying, sir, you were hit in more than the ear. I said, nope. I was hit in the ear. I want to get up. Let me get up. And so I got up, and the crowd didn't know what to think. I mean, this was so many people, and you could see they were confused. They didn't know what to think. And I wanted to let them know I was okay. It was very important for me to let them know that. And they went wild. You've seen they didn't.
And what he said right there, as far as, wanting to let everybody know he was okay, that was important because people are wondering, okay, this, like, what's going on? Is he alive? What happened? Did he get shot? So you want everybody to know right away that I'm good. Let everybody know right away. Get up, show them the fist. The main thing is to let everyone know you're okay. Now, some saw that as him trying to just take advantage of the moment, trying to go viral and stuff like this. Well, I just got shot and I didn't die. So maybe I can say that I'm okay, that it's all good. I'm not really in a bad situation. So I don't really see anything too wrong with that. All right. But let's keep on rocking here. We got a few more. Then I'll get to the calls a little bit later. All right. Let me see. Yeah, the Butler thing. And then here you're talking about the whole tax on tips kerfuffle.
He's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said that months ago. And by the way, they had just the opposite. You know, they had not only tax on tips, but they hired 88,000 IRS agents, and many of them were assigned to go get waitresses and caddies and all of this on tips. They have a policy. They had a policy that they were really going to go after you and were really harassing people horribly. And then all of a sudden, for politics, she says, you know, she comes out with what I said, which I think is terrible. And I think it's also hitting them very hard. These people are fake. He's making a speech and there will be no tax on tips. I said,
it's crazy how you could just straight up steal something from somebody, just straight up steal it, and it's not really a big deal. Didn't we see that with Claudine Gay? What was that, the lady over at Harvard, or where was she at? Claudine Gay straight up stole stuff. She stole from Carol Swain, Dr. Carol Swain. She stole from a few people. How are you going to just do that and get away with it? It's crazy. All right, there's more we got. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's get to a few more things. There was one thing they were talking about was climate change. Because y'all know Elon has Tesla, and you're going to benefit a lot from people that think climate change is a real thing. They think that if they drive an electric car, that they are helping their environment, and they're not. Listen, if you enjoy EVs, then enjoy them. Have at it. Have a great time. I'm not trying to say I'm great for the environment by driving my big gas guzzler, that Ford F-150 outside with the 8-cylinder, naturally aspirated, just straight power, okay? I'm not trying to say I'm trying to save the trees and things of this nature. And that same attitude should apply if you're driving the Cybertruck. Sir, you have a Cybertruck with steel-plated Cybertruck with so much weight. I don't know how much that thing weighs. I think the Cybertruck weighs as much as, how much does the Cybertruck weigh? I know it's heavy. It's heavy vehicle. EVs are 30% heavier than gas-powered cars. The way you source the batteries and all the materials inside is harmful to the environment. Also, where does energy come from? What energy is being used to power the plant that is powering your vehicle? What, a lot of coal? There's a higher demand for coal now because of the electric vehicles. And there's going to be, because it's a higher demand on the grid. So at the end of the day, you're going to be burning coal still to power the grid. And if you're not, what you're going to have a wind farm or a solar farm to try and power the grid with all these EVs on it. If you like EVs, that's fine. But don't say it's because of the environment, because that's just not factually correct. You don't have the exhaust coming from your vehicle like a gas power does. But how about the exhaust coming from the power plant that is powering your vehicle? Hold on. John W. says, my gas F-150 weighs only 4,000 pounds, not the 6,700 like the Cybertruck. That's wild. 6,700 pounds. But the Ford F-150 weighs Now, for a little bit of context here, the Ford F-150, the Toyota Tundra, and the Cybertruck are the same size. The Cybertruck is a little bit different as far as the design, obviously, but the wheelbase, all that, like everything, your frame, all of that, it's the same. But yet it weighs a lot more. A lot more. Oh, yeah. Listen, Duke Raoul said Cybertruck will burn through those V-rated tires at like $400 each in no time. Oh, yeah. Because listen, you got that torque, that quick torque. That's going to burn the tires. And you have the heavier vehicle. You're going to burn through tires like you are going through. The tires are going to burn so quickly and make your head spin. And of course, look at the process to make tires. That's not necessarily environmentally friendly. So you're going to have more wear and tear on the road, more tire damage that's going to be creating pollution. All of that. All right. But yeah, the batteries are very heavy. Very, very heavy. Let me see if I can find one more. He was talking about that. It was funny. They were talking about the Axis of Evil and Rocket Man. That was a really good time with Rocket Man. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that one. And then I keep on moving.
I said, what's the biggest problem? He said, North Korea. I had that problem worked out very quickly. It was nasty at the beginning with Rocket Man and, all the different things.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden I got a call.
Those were some epic tweets, by the way.
Yeah, they
Those
were they were
actually
epic everything. He said that he has a red button on his desk. I said, I have a red button on my desk too, but my red button is much bigger and my red button works. And then I called him Little Rocket Man of Little Rocket Man. Anyway, I said, what's the biggest problem?
That was hilarious though. Like, and Elon was tickled about them old tweets talking about Rocket Man. That was a really good time though. Said Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself. That was, in my opinion, that was iconic. It really was. But it's funny, but at the same time, we didn't have any problems. We didn't have all these conflicts going on. We didn't have the Israel-Palestine kerfuffle being the way it is now. They've always been fighting, but not to this extent. There was no issue with Taiwan. There was no Ukraine, Russia giving them $20 billion every 2 months. Okay, giving them an allowance, basically. That wasn't going on during Trump. So it's a mess. It really is. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. I saw that Brian Dunham says, hey, ABL, did you hear about the chicken wing theft in Chicago worth $1.5 million? Yeah. So the lady was like a lunch lady, and basically what she was doing was putting in orders for the chicken wings through their system. But rather than just having the wings go to the school, she was sending them to herself or taking them home. So I don't know. At this point, $1.5 million in chicken wings, you can't eat that much. And she wasn't no big bag. She was like a regular sized lady. What probably happened was she had a restaurant or something, or her friends had a restaurant, and she was stealing the school's chicken to supply the restaurant with their food to gain an advantage. That's probably what that was. I'm willing to guarantee you that she was in it with other people. Guarantee. 1.5 million in chicken and you actually eat it. Nah, you're selling it, or you're giving it to a restaurant for free or whatever. It was probably a deal where she'll steal the chicken, get it brought to her house or take it to her house, and then go and resell it for less than what the actual purchase price would be on the open market. Therefore, whoever's buying it from her is able to get the reduction in price. That's what I think happened. Yeah, 1.5 million. That's probably, because it's impossible to eat that much food. 1.5 M's and chicken wings, it ain't happening. Now, of course, it was over some years, but still, I think she was supplying some restaurant or food truck or something like that. That's probably what was going on. Maybe showing them light flats. That's hilarious. Yeah, but that story was so crazy. So crazy. All right. There's more, but I don't have all day. I got a little bit of time. Shout out to you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the actual talk with Elon. And I hope, listen, I hope and pray that you guys enjoyed the talk and you appreciate the direction that Trump is going in his campaign with JD Vance. Because I don't want to see you guys wearing shirts like this, okay? I don't want to see none of y'all. Listen, I don't want to be out at the Publix, downtown, minding my business, catching the sunshine and the breeze. I don't want to be out and then see y'all wearing stuff like this. And now if you can't see the screen, we got this dad in front of the tractor wearing just a regular ball cap. It might be the American flag on it, pair of tan or white shorts. And he has on the red t-shirt with the elephant GOP logo. And under that, it says Republicans for Kamala. All right. Now, I don't know I don't know what guy's boyfriend this is, but sir, please stop. Please stop, man. We're not going to do that around here. We're not going to do that. Yeah, the white dudes for Harris, that was the cringiest of cringe. White dudes for Harris, so cringe. I mean, it's a mess. But they're desperate. Oh, and speaking about white dudes for Harris, do y'all know who this guy is? Now, a lot of you guys on Twitter said you know who he is. He's an actor. I don't know this man from a can of paint. You put a gun in my head and say, hey, ABL, name that man. Go ahead and pull the trigger.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Here I am in downtown Chicago at the corner of East Grand and West Grand. And I just decided that I need to get out and start campaigning for Kamala Harris for president. I got back from overseas yesterday and I was going to head home and be with my beautiful wife and my gorgeous children. And then I remembered that I fashioned myself some sort of a leader, at least in my own mind. And the only kind of leadership that means anything anymore is leadership by example. So I'm going to head over to Indiana, my old stomping ground, where Christine, my wife, where she's from and where I've spent so much time. And did you know that it shares a border with Michigan? Interesting. Stay tuned.
All right, there you have it. You guys say, what's his name? Sean Astin, is that his name? Played Rudy. Yeah, shout out to him. Patty Duke's son. Yep, I did see that. Patty Duke's son. So that's him. White dudes for Harris. There we go. So if you did not get your daily cringe dose fix, there you have it. I came through for you to get you your cringe dose at the last minute. But yeah, if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Okay, I got limited time, so I got one more I want to show you. So when you see people, when you see people talking about they support Joe Biden, especially online. When you see that kind of stuff online, you got to ask yourself, is this real? Is this serious? Are we playing games? Like, what's going on? Because how much actual genuine support is there for a Joe Biden online? Pardon me. It's not that much. You're going to see some support, but is it real? Now, this person says what a lot of influencers have been getting proposed to put out positive messages about the Biden administration.
In the first 100 days of a Republican presidency under Trump, Project 2025 talks about sacking thousands of civil servants.
Last month, Sunay says she was hired by Protect Our Care, a progressive advocacy group that relies on anonymous donors. She made a video warning about Trump's second-term agenda.
They almost help you script it, right?
Right,
Like,
definitely.
She takes their talking points and puts them into...
Now, do you see what's happening here? When you're being asked about Project 2025 by your cousin at the family reunion or whatever you go to, the reason why they're asking about that is because it was an AstroTurf campaign that was literally paid for. You see it right here. We can read it on the screen. It's right here. This is from CBS. They're saying, hey, we do this. We're paying people to push propaganda. Listen, I'm going to read some of this right here because they ain't going to read it. And this is all about Project 2025, okay? It says you have a column that says do and don't. The first in the do column says use Project 2025 to show proof of a larger argument. MAGA, in all caps, wants total control over our country and our lives. And then next to it, it says don't focus on Project 2025 without bringing your listener back to a bigger message. Another one, define Project 2025 by connecting it to an overall value or frame. Gut checks and balances, control, power grab. Use words like that. Use phrases like that. But don't just list the litany of policies in the manifesto. So don't worry about policy. Don't worry about listing that. Just make people focus on phrases, words, like one word, things that are easy for them to catch because they're dumb. Do focus on how their authoritarianism will threaten our personal freedoms, but don't dwell on the impact on federal agencies or how it differs from the precedent. Example, their plan would gut our system of checks and balances, giving the president too much power and threatening American personal freedoms. Do combine a proposal in Project 2025 with something already happening in states under full MAGA control. But don't just list their unpopular policy proposals. People doubt they will happen. So there you go. They're telling you how to be a pusher of propaganda, and they're paying you. So how much is she getting paid? How much will she get paid to push the message out there? Let's see.
To her own voice, saying she always discloses when she's being paid.
What's your rate?
So a video just for a creator in my size, an average can go from $3,000 to $10,000 depending and upwards.
So you're saying it right there. They're getting paid to push that out there. So when your cousin asks you about Project 2025, ask them 2 questions, and if they ask for an honest answer, hey, what'd you hear about Project 2025? How'd you come across that whole thing? Like, where'd you get that from? And then ask them, what do they know about it? If they're watching one of these TikTok videos about Project 2025, they're not going to get taught anything. So when you ask them that question, they're not going to know. All they have been trained to do is react to certain buzzwords without knowing anything about policy. And they don't even know that Project 2025 is not even Trump's proposal. It's just an independent organization that can say whatever they want to say. All right. I can put out a manifesto. This is ABL's manifesto. What makes that more valid than the Heritage Foundation? What makes it more valid? Ice Cube had a plan that Trump used. Ice Cube. What makes my plan any less or more important or valuable than whatever the Heritage Foundation says? If Ice Cube was able to get to the president and give him policy, then I can too. So anybody can, right? If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Snarf McGrew says, is this for 12-year-olds? Yes, it is actually. But it's written on a level that can be understood by children because they're trying to get young people involved. Not 12 years old, literally, but they want to get young people involved. And also normies that don't know anything. If you're scrolling TikTok and you don't really know a lot about anything political and you see her come up, pretty girl, you might already be following her, you're going to stop and listen. And if you don't know any better, you might believe her. That's the goal. And they're going to use very simple language to communicate their message to you. That's how they do. We all know this by now. But yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all. Yeah, the platinum plan. That's right, Sushi. Shout out to you, man. All right. We got some super chats on deck. Let's get to these and let's get to some calls. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, earthquakes and fires in California. I blame gruesome Newscom. And at one point during the shout out to you for the super chat, Caius. And one point during the interview or discussion between Elon and Trump had called Gavin Newsom Gavin Newscom. That was a funny moment as well, and very fitting for a person like that. Caius also says, ABL, what's your take on Putin, Ukraine, and Israel? That's their business. We need to stay out of it. I hope that everyone is able to be well. Anyone innocent, I hope that they stay free and stay alive and stay healthy. But really, that's not our business. Can we fight every fight in the world? I'm not quite sure. Apu says, RIP, 1 month fire chief Corey Comparatore got rest. Oh, you talking about like 1 month since he died, RIP to him. And also Apu says, 1 month ago, God saved Donald Trump. Never forget. That's right. Shout out to Apu again, who says, Kamala's great-grandparents were not slaves. Kamala's grandparents, not sharecroppers. Kamala's parents did not live under Jim Crow laws, nor join MLK's marches. Kamala did not grow up in the hood. Hashtag not black. Yeah, even if she had to grow up in the hood to be black, but at the end of the day, calling her black is a stretch. She's more Indian than anything else. Really, you could just say you multicultural, biracial, but I don't like this whole thing of jumping into this identity and that identity. Look, she got just about as much black as I have white, but you're never going to see ABL talking about, yeah, I'm white. You're never going to see that happen. It's just not really a thing. Like that episode of Atlanta, the 35-year-old 35-year-old white man. But anyway, I digress. Thank you to Michael Critchlow.
I'm a 35-year-old white man.
Harrison, born Antoine Smalls, has transracial identity, identifying as Harrison Booth, a 35-year-old white man from Colorado.
And when did you know that you were a 35-year-old white man?
Well, I've always felt different. I go to the store, the movies, and just be thinking to myself, like, why am I not getting the respect I deserve? Mm-hmm. And then it just hit me. I'm white.
Exactly. That's how I would look if I was to pull up and say, you know what, I'm white now. Yeah, my 2 times great granddaddy was a white man, an Irish dude, so that means I'm white. I'm a 35-year-old white man from Colorado. I drink craft beers and I go snowboarding and things of this nature. I'm white. You know, I'm looking like Ivan Drago. If he dies, he dies. That's me. Yeah. That's how Kamala looks to us. 100%. Oh, ABL, white focusing on race. If I was to come up there and say I'm a white man, I would be the butt of every joke in the whole world. I would be the ultimate comedian fodder. I couldn't even leave my house without getting jokes. But yeah, shout out to him. This guy right here, he's a YouTuber also. Nowsy Now. Shout out to Nows. But this was on an episode of Atlanta on FX. So shout out to him. Now I gotta play it.
And 35. I just miss Colorado sometimes. You know, here I pretend the buildings are the old San Juan mountain range, but, you know, the job's just here.
And where do you work?
I'm a systems engineer for Coca-Cola.
Oh, okay.
That boy don't work. He go to school and that's it. Mm-hmm. One day he said, call me Harrison. I said, who's that? He said, me.
Harrison. That's a crazy name. Yeah. Nah, I ain't calling you Harrison, sir. I ain't calling you Harrison, bro. Anyway, Michael Critchlow says, please address this recent Van Jones quote, people will crawl through broken glass to vote against racist GOP. So dramatic. Is he an actor as well? So dramatic and soft. So soft. Van Jones, I got a question. You got 100 million U.S. American cold hard cash dollars from Jeff Bezos. Where the money at? What you do with that? Huh? Like, what have you done with that money? Anyway, thank you to Apple Barker, All Puff Daddy, who says, ABO, what are some of your favorite memories of state fairs? State fairs, we had like carnivals. I guess it's like the same thing, even though it's not. But I don't recall going to like a fair where you got like how you would think a fair is. So we had carnivals. Being on the rides, the UFO ride. Yeah, man, you gotta, if you've not vomited on a UFO ride as an 8-year-old, you've not lived life, man. So going on the rides, cotton candy, the funnel cakes, just being outside, just enjoying seeing friends and whatnot from school and things of this nature. Yeah, that was always fun at the carnivals when I was a kid. The bounce houses or whatever, if you can get on that, that was always fun. And then I would go to Busch Gardens a lot. We go every year. Me and Mom go to Busch Gardens every year. That was always fun, like a real actual amusement park. And now as an adult, I can appreciate the amusement park element where they dress up and things like that. I really appreciate that. They have on the old clothing or some of the cultural clothing. They got the big German sausage links, and they got on the lederhosen and the clogs. Now I can appreciate that. So yeah, shout out to Busch Gardens, shout out to King's Dominion in Richmond, and shout out to all the carnivals. This is in Virginia. Yeah, Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, pardon me. I know they got one in Tampa, I think too, but I went to the one in Williamsburg. They got the Colonial Williamsburg vibe. It's a really good park. If you've not been there, I've not been there in years, but if it's still a good park, you should go visit if you've not been. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, Virginia. All right. Yeah, I had a very interesting childhood, to say the least, John W. Had a lot of fun, a lot of experiences as a child. Thank you to Smooth Artist, who says, taking it up to, I ain't gonna say the rest. Thank you to Michael Guest, who says, I grew up as a teenager during the 1980s. I know exactly what breakdancing is. That crap was not breakdancing. I call that the funky klutz. Thank you to Michael Guest, who says, supporters of Harris, plantation Democrats. Also, if Harris wasn't the border czar, then she should have opened. If Harris was not the border czar, then she shouldn't have opened up her mouth and set the record straight. Or she should have opened up, she should have set the record straight. Why didn't she? Trump 2024. Thank you to Jenny Jones, who says, federal minimum wage $7.25 an hour has been since 2009. Scary thought. But it doesn't matter because each state is going to rise it to whatever they want to rise it to. The federal wage is $7.25, but it's $16.50 in California, and if you work fast food, it's $20. So it doesn't really matter. It's really irrelevant. There should be no minimum wage because it's whatever you want it to be. It's whatever your state says it should be. Thank you to Caius Posthumous, who says, grilling burgers on the patio while watching ABL live. Shout out to you, man. Thank you to Blockhead MIT, who says, Georgia and Pennsylvania are the keys to this election. Mark my words. I will go to sleep after those two are called. Also, Blockhead MIT says, don't forget the First Step Act. They don't want to talk about that either. Exactly. The First Step Act, releasing all these people that got locked up under Joe Biden's crime bill. So what's really going on? Thank you to it's Rebecca Starr, who says, polls are lying, stories made up on Twitter, actors everywhere, but you are looking really handsome through all of it. Thank you for that. I appreciate you. You're far too kind, Rebecca. I appreciate you. All right. We got super chats on deck. I read those. Let's get to the calls. I know I'm late, but blame the white man. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. There's also an email in the description if you want to be right here in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And let's get rocking and rolling. Let me get my sound together first, of course. Y'all hang tight for me. And let's try to do this perfect. There we go. Who am I speaking to? 707 on the line. Caller, can you hear me? Hello? All right, let's try that one more time. All right, caller, can you hear me? 205.
Yes, sir. AB, how you doing?
It's all good, man. What's going on?
Oh, man.
I don't know what happened. I mean, the calls are, hopefully Skype not messing up. And like I said, don't blame me, blame the white man. I didn't hang up on my man. It just, the call ended. 904, your line I'm speaking to.
Hey, how you doing, ABL? I just have one question I want to ask you. If you were able to physically call and interview Donald Trump, what are just two questions you'd like to ask him? Something that maybe you don't really know, or, you know, something that everybody wants to know.
Okay. The two questions. The first, I would ask him, how was New York City for you in the 70s and 80s when it came to the black community? Because, you know, they always say racist, you had discrimination in your apartments or whatever. I like to ask him what it was like. Did he get along? Was he hanging out with certain people? And I probably would bring up pictures and say, hey, this is you in the club with Shabba Ranks, the reggae dancehall artist. You with Rosa Parks and Muhammad Ali, and you're with Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent. How was it back then? Did you guys get along, and what changed? That'd be one question. And then the second question I would ask is, what's the future of America? Where do you see us going? Are we going to keep doing the same thing we are doing as far as how we behave and how we live? Are we going to be able to compete with China and other parts of the world as far as innovation and education? What is your goal for us in the future, like 100 years from now? That'll be my questions.
I like that. I really like your first question because I doubt anybody would have called him a racist back then. And that's a really good question. Anyway, thanks for answering that, ABL. Have a good night, man.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, that'll be my questions, because that doesn't really get asked too much. It's a lot of these pictures and videos, and they're there, and nobody really says anything about it. Nobody asked anybody about it. Let's keep on going. Let's go to 936 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, is this ABL?
Yes, it is.
Hey, ABL. Hey, my name is William, man. I think I called a few live streams ago. I'm from Norfolk. I'm in the military. Hey, so I had a few quick questions, especially regarding like the IDF and pretty much them just doing a lot of action going on in the Middle East right now. What's your take on it as far as like them between IDF and Iran?
I mean, really, that's their business. We shouldn't be getting involved. We shouldn't be trying to. And what we do a lot of times is fund both sides of a conflict. Okay, so we're giving Israel all kind of money and giving them weapons to defend themselves. But at the same time, we giving Iran money too, because of the whole Iran nuclear deal, that whole fallout, we giving them billions in cash on the airplane. So it's like, on one hand, you want to try to defend one side and say the other side is bad, but you give the other side money. So how about we just stay out of it and let them deal with it?
That's what I say. That's what I was thinking too. I think a lot of things that's going on, I think it kind of directly, indirectly correlates to Ukraine and Russia. How do you feel about that as far as kind of like this whole grand scheme of a lot of wars going on right now?
Well, I mean, I don't like any of the foreign conflict. That's a big part of the reason why I voted for Trump the first time, is because he was against the foreign wars. And he was man of his word, because we didn't have any new foreign wars under Trump. So that was probably my top issue, actually, was the foreign wars, because I know where that can lead. And now that we have these foreign wars happening now, the objective is to generate revenue the same way they did during the world wars and any other war, really, because of all the contracts and everything that happens. And it's also a way to try and weaken the Russian Federation. If you weaken them, then you can have Western Europe become stronger. I guess that's the goal. And then also they can't really get too strong and join with China and become like this mega big power that would delete everybody. So I understand what they're trying to do, but I'm not a fan, because when you go down this road, you can easily slip into another world war, and everybody has nuclear weapons. That's going to be all bad.
That's what I'm afraid of. I feel like if everything goes downhill, there's going to be another major war conflict. I know a lot of people that's on a lot of ships right now, on a lot of sea duty tours. They're going to Israel as we speak. So it's just very alarming, definitely, especially when you think in the fact like, hey, like there could be something going on any moment right now. And I'm just like, hey, in this situation, I really want everything to de-escalate, especially right now in this environment. So it's just kind of spooky, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man, Bill, you have a great night.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. All right, great call. Shout out to all the callers. We got a lot of calls tonight. The phone lines are blowing up. Let's go to 843 on the line. Speaker to.
Yeah, for sure.
ABL.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's Rocco calling from South Carolina. How you doing, sir?
I'm well, man. How about yourself?
Doing great. Look, I know you talk about you used to live in Virginia, so I was born and raised in Maryland. I live in South Carolina now. I know that you live in Tennessee now. You used to live in Virginia, but I remember going across the Woodrow Wilson Bridge when I was a teenager, man, to go to Springfield Mall. Did you ever go to Springfield Mall when you lived in Virginia?
That's like Northern Virginia, right? That's like close to DC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been through Northern Virginia, but I lived like in Virginia Beach, Norfolk. So I would go through Northern.
Oh, got you.
Yeah,
Got you.
I would go that way because I had a lot of family in DC. So I used to be up in like actual Southeast DC, Capitol Hill, like Capitol,
Yeah, I was going to ask
Heights.
you that too, man, because I'm from that area. I was like, you and I should get together and go tour in DC, but you've already been through all that, so you know your way around DC probably just like me.
Oh yeah. I used to be in DC like all the time. Like I got family up there right now. I have more family in DC than anywhere else in the country.
Man, that's great news, man. We used to love. I don't know if you ever got to get out, man. I remember going to Halloween in Georgetown. Man, that was crazy. That was the funnest time I've ever been on Halloween. I mean, that was back when Ronald Reagan was president, and they had all these Secret Service guys around him, and they had a guy with a Ronald Reagan mask, and other guys were pulling up with like squirt guns, not real guns, because back then we could do fun things like that. Now everybody gets so triggered about stuff. But they were squirt guns. The president of CIA, the Secret Service was pulling out squirt guns, and they were squirting each other with water guns. I mean, it's this crazy time. And I know you're talking about your teenager. You went to Kings of Million. I did too. Busch Gardens, Hershey Park. It's good times, man. Like, and I feel bad. Like, I have a son. He's grown up now. I just want him to get out and enjoy life like you and I did. It's a different time now. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I just want to call and say, I love your show. I love everything you do. I just watched just a little shout out about Candace Owens. She just did a great interview. You should check it out with the guy that was thrown to jail in Romanian prison for 92 days. A lot like what they're trying to do to Trump. So, but look, I love you. I love everybody in the chat. And keep doing what you're doing, ABL. I love you, man. Peace.
Peace. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. My Maryland brother. Shout out to Maryland. 281, you're the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, I'm sorry. Just getting in late right now to the conversation. Well, what's the topic tonight?
Whatever you want it to be, as long as it's politically related.
Well, man, I'm down here in Texas, man. I live in both Houston and on the border. So I mean, if you want to, I don't know if you're talking about that tonight or not, but
go ahead.
I've got firsthand knowledge. Of all these illegals coming across my hunting range. So again, like I said, I'm late to the conversation, and I don't know if you want to go that route tonight.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah, if you want to talk about the border, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I live both here in Houston, and some people have a lake house, some people have a beach house. I have a hunting house on 400 acres down between Uvalde, Texas, and Del Rio, Texas, right on the Rio Grande River. I'm about 24, 26 miles this side of the river. And, man, ever since Biden took over, we had this influx of illegal aliens coming in, and it got to the point where they were just breaking into our house on the regular and just stealing whatever they wanted, man. And to make things more complicated is, I'm in my 50s now, and I'm 50% retired and 50% disabled. So I'm not able to spend 100% of time over there. So when I get back over there, I get to the house and realize they kicked in the house and they've done what they wanted. And, it's just most of the stuff your viewers have already heard before. But I'm here to tell you it's real. And the fact that Kamala Harris is single-handedly responsible for all this, it's excuse my language, it's a damn shame that the government is not holding her responsible. The mainstream media is not holding her responsible. And half of these American voters are not holding her responsible. I don't know what the complex is or what the problem is. Is it because it's out of sight, out of mind, or they just don't care? Or it's like, hey, it's my team, I'm going to look the other way? I truly don't know, but I do know that these things are happening because I see it firsthand every time I'm out there. Again, I don't mean to go off on a rant or anything here, but that's kind of, the aspect I wanted to let your viewers listen to tonight.
Well, I
Do
understand,
you think
man.
that's?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah, I go. You could finish.
No, that was pretty much it. I mean, I can go on more, but at this point, it's going to turn into a rant. I mean, here's the thing. I'm so isolated out there. I don't have U.S. mail. I don't have fire department. I don't have police department. If I'm lucky, the border patrol will show up, and they don't even know where to find me. I have to give them GPS coordinates just to get to the house, and then once they get to the house, then it's 400 acres behind the house where these people just come and do what they want. I mean, they just treat my ranch as if it's their own personal property. They can come and do as they please. So again, I don't want to go off on a rant, but it's a very, very I'm sorry, what am I trying to say? It's a travesty that America isn't taking this issue very seriously, because it is very serious. And I remember back when this first started about 4 years ago, a little bit longer than that, but when Governor Abbott, basically put his foot down and was having to defend the U.S.-Mexico border out of his own pockets, out of our taxpayer pockets, and all these northern cities, what do they call them, sanctuary cities, they were laughing at us and saying that we were racist and homophobes and blah, 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 until Governor Abbott took the shoe off of this foot and put it on the other foot and started shipping all these immigrants to their sanctuary cities. Now, all of a sudden, the rest of America has started to wake up a little bit. But for whatever reason, even though they got a taste of what we get over here in Texas every day, they seem to not care, or they don't want to pay attention. They don't care where all this tax money is going.
Yeah.
So again, like I said, I just wanted to add that to the conversation tonight. And let me say this one last thing. I think it's a damn shame that these people took a shot at Donald Trump and then they just sweep it under the rug like it never happened. I mean, what is this country coming to, where it's okay for these idiots to take a shot at the president? And then you got other idiots on the internet talking about, I wish he wouldn't have missed. What kind of shit is that, man?
Well, you can't cuss on the show, but thank you for your call, man. I appreciate you. It's all good, man. Thank you for your call.
All right, thank you.
All right, shout out to my man. Good call, but you could tell you was feeling it. Shout out to him. 205 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, ABL. I spoke to you earlier. The call had dropped. Can you hear me okay?
I heard you.
Yeah, I was saying, did you see what's going on, or have you heard what's going on currently with Russia incursion with Ukraine? Not sure if you covered that or not.
You said that Russia is doing what now?
There's an incursion right now with Ukraine to Russia. They have occupied a certain part of Russia right now, and that's like a developing thing right now going on with the Russia-Ukraine war. I was wondering, have you heard about that?
I mean, I've seen it, but to me, that's not really an escalation, because they kind of are fighting over a contested area, the Donbass region. So if it's like right there, that's not really a big deal. What would be a big deal is if they use weapons to hit Moscow or St. Petersburg or something like that. Then you're like, okay, now we got something going on. But that same old conflict that's been happening, to me, is just like, it's more of the same. But I could,
yeah, because for what I've seen, that the certain part of, because I think the Donbass region you're talking about is a separate thing. This here is Ukraine. They try something bold and end up going at the part of the border of Russia to where it's not really heavily guarded, and they end up kind of blitzing them and taking some territory in that region to kind of divert away from troops that was fighting in the other part. I wish I knew the exact area of Russia, but they're saying that this has been the first time that this has happened since World War II, where a nuclear, or I would say, where Russia, I guess back then, Soviet Union, was invaded by another country. I know it's right now Russia is invading Ukraine, obviously, but now it's like, Ukraine is invading Russia at that part of the region. And Putin made a statement, I think yesterday, he said like he's like there's no more negotiations. The talks is off with Ukraine, and I think he's pretty much saying for NATO because I remember last month he proposed a peace deal, but NATO said no to it, and he said something that he's going to have to do something that our enemies are not going to like, but he's left with no choices. I don't know what that is, but my thing is, especially what the Army guy was saying, how he's worried, the military guy that called earlier, he's worried about this thing escalating. I feel like if Ukraine ends up taking more ground inside of Russia, and they're doing this with the help of U.S. weaponry, intelligence, and things, I feel like Putin's patience is just starting to wear thin, especially if he sees during the election time that Trump will get back in. Because he did say that he looks forward to some peace negotiations if Trump gets back in. But, you know, if Kamala gets in, man, I feel like Putin's patience is wearing real thin. So, yeah, we need to, that needs to be something that needs to be talked about. There needs to be de-escalation. It's like, current administration is nothing really. No one is doing no type of negotiation, no talks. I think Biden hasn't even talked to Biden for the past, I think they said 18 months or something like that. So we're leading down a very bad road. But yeah, I was just wondering about that if you heard about that. But yeah, I appreciate you taking my call.
Thanks for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Let's keep on rocking here. 815, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is the Sage. I just had a quick question for you. Did you hear anything about Kamala Harris leaving her press pool, like taking off without them, like ducking them and leaving? I don't want to keep you on the line. I just wanted to know if you heard about it. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you for the call. Yeah, I've not heard that about her leaving the press pool, but I have heard about her not trying to answer questions, so that's not a surprise. She is really trying to avoid answering any questions, and she is not going to be able to do that because they got debates coming up, and we're going to need some kind of sit-down interview with her. You can't just avoid the press like this. I mean, she's about as bad as Joe Biden or worse. 215 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, how's it going?
It's all good. How about yourself?
Everything's good. So basically, what was the topic I wanted to touch on? Hold up. Yeah, so basically, I had left a super chat for you last time you went live, and basically I was this black woman, and she worked at my job, right? And she was saying how she's one of them Trump haters. But what caught me by surprise is the fact that when she brought up Obama, mind you, this is a Trump hating older black lady, right? What caught me by surprise is when she said, now, I know for a fact Obama, he didn't do nothing for black people at all. That statement alone still blew my mind. I'm like, oh, I'm surprised. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm surprised she admitted that. I was shocked she said it.
Yeah, that's very shocking because people don't always say stuff like that out loud, even when it's the truth.
Yeah, and this is a MSNBC watcher. And she just flat out said it. She's like, Obama didn't do nothing for black people. I said, ooh, that's a shocker.
It is.
So, and it's like, one thing I've noticed about a lot of like older folks who are like brainwashed, they hate Trump and all that stuff, it's really, the brainwashing is real. And any little negative thing, they'll just associate it with Donald Trump, even though, and I always hit him with this. I said, he hasn't been in office for 4 years. He said, it doesn't matter. Everything he said in the play messed up the economy now. I said, then why did we vote for Joe Biden? To get him out of office. But if he still has power, then what's the purpose of even vote? Doesn't that defeat the whole purpose of voting for Joe Biden? To get him out of office if Joe Biden can't do anything?
Right, exactly. So it's like, what's his part? Like, the whole thing is we're going to vote for somebody to have them have the country go on the right track. But if they can't do that, then what's the point?
That's what I'm saying. And it was really wasn't really much said after that. They pretty much just changed the subject because they just start going around why they don't like Trump and all that stuff. And I'm just saying, honestly, And then once they brought the abortion issue, I just say, look, they would have done. They if they were going to ban it, they would have banned it years ago. Especially when Trump was in office for 4 years, they would have already banned it already.
Right on, absolutely.
Yeah, and I told them it's the states. That's the states' issue. They gave the rights back to the states, so the state will decide if they have it in their state or not. And another thing, I wanted to read the Project 2025. The 2025, what's in there? What website do I have to go on? Like the government website, see what's in it?
Nah, it's not a government thing. It's a heritage foundation.
The Project 2025?
Yes.
Oh, I thought because they said the Republicans were going to bring the Project 2025. I've been hearing a lot about that.
It's lies. It's lies. It's the media lying to you as normal.
Oh my God! See, here's the thing though. See, I follow politics, but I never looked into it. I was just hearing. I'm sorry about the noise. I'm outside. I was hearing about it. I was seeing them, listening to them talk about it. I never looked into it. They said the policies are online. What's inside the bill? But it's just a heritage foundation. That's all it is.
Yeah. So let me just tell you. So the Heritage Foundation has like their own thing that they wish people would do. That's all. It's a wish list from the Heritage Foundation. It's not a government thing. It's no bill. It's no law. It's nothing. It's just like framework if you want to use it, but you don't have to. Trump even spoke on it and said he doesn't know anything about it. Some things in there he does not like at all, and some things he does. The media will just tell you stuff like that. The media will say it's the Republicans, it's the GOP, and they want to keep pushing it as part of an astroturfing campaign. So you hear it passively, and you just assume it must be a law from the Republicans, but really it's not.
What? Wow. See, I've just been hearing about it, never looked into it, and I didn't really care to it. But I was like, let me look into it. But I didn't know where to look. But I thought I wanted to ask you, like, if you had, like, because I seen one of your videos when you were talking about it, and you said you cite your sources. But I got to go back to that video because you probably cite your sources where I can go back in there and read what's in it. But it was just a heritage foundation.
Yeah, I mean, it's really meaningless unless somebody decides to take on what's in there. But how would anybody know that? The best way to go and see what somebody stands for is to go to their website and look. But, I don't think Kamala has that. So don't do that for Kamala, but do it for Trump.
Wow. I'm glad. I was trying to educate myself all the time, but learn something new every day. I'm glad you taught me that, ABL, because I was going to look into it, see what policies was in there myself. But once you told me that it's not really politically related, then it's pretty much that's something that can easily get debunked real quick. I want to look into that. But thank you, ABL, for taking my call.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right, you have a good one.
Same to you. Yeah, so the whole Project 2025 thing, just to be clear to anybody, the Heritage Foundation is, I guess you would say, like a nonprofit organization, like a conservative think tank in DC. And they put out their framework, how they would like leaders to operate in 2025. That's it. It's not Trump's plan. It's not a bill. It's not a law. It's not anything like that. But the media will make it seem like that. Even though they might not say it directly, they know how to communicate to make you think a thing that could be true. So now people are, and I showed you guys earlier where the girl was getting paid to talk about Project 2025. That's part of the campaign. You see how that works? That's why guys like me exist, and many others should just break down all that BS. 707, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Lee. How are you?
Oh, well, how about yourself?
I'm good. Thank you, Anthony. I called you a couple of years ago, and I don't want to bring back up some old stuff, but I feel like it seems like it's kind of relevant. She went to the local grocery market and she didn't just bounce one check. She bounced two of them. And so she doubled down. She went in 11 days later and she did it again to the local the grocery market, the Food for Less store in Alameda.
Who is this?
Oh, well, I mean, this is Lee. I'm the debt collector that worked.
No.
I work the bad check desk. And
my man,
I had
sir,
two
can you hear me,
checks,
sir,
and they were
sir,
they were both for Kamala Harris.
All right. I don't got no time, man. You taking too long. Look, man, if you're gonna be a troll, you need to get to your punchline immediately. I don't got no. My patience is this thin. I promise it is. Right now, we at the end of the show. If you're gonna troll, get to your punchline immediately. If you're gonna call me N-word, just do that from the jump and hang up. Don't just be trying to ramble, trying to get to your point. And nobody got no time for that. I was like, man, come on, man. You gotta just, you know what I mean? Punchline immediately.
Anthony,
What's going on, man?
oh man, these trolls. I can't stand trolls. Just kidding, I love trolls. Hey, I don't mean to change the subject on all the news that you've been catching up on. I wanted to point it out. I made a observation about Jerry Nadler. And did you listen to Jerry Nadler's response to the Senate hearing on the Trump assassination?
No, I didn't.
He went on and on and on about how the left has been attacked. He even listed like the Paul Pelosi's attack in his house as being like a right wing dude. Yeah, I mean, he was. I don't think he was left wing, a right wing. But he listed off all kinds of attacks. But the one that he did not list off was, remember the pipe bombs?
Yes.
So I guess like some new information had just come out where Kamala Harris was actually within 20 feet of the pipe bomb.
Mm.
And so the pipe bomb that looks like an Adam West bomb, Adam West Batman. It looks like a Looney Tunes. It's got like a big clock on the front of a pipe. You'd never make a bomb like that, and if you did, you wouldn't just like lay it out in the open. I mean, it was intended to be found. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why didn't Jerry Nadler list, in the wake of the Trump shooting, in that investigation, the fact that Kamala Harris, the presumptive president, was nearly killed by a pipe bomb? Why did he not list that?
That's a good question.
Could it be because it was a Jesse Smollett bomb?
That's kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah. Just so the revolver news is starting to kind of trickle out with some things like this. And Thomas Massey had asked a bunch of the people. So I guess they're re-interviewing the people for January 6th and just saying, hey, where did your leads lead you on the pipe bomb stuff? And they said, well, there were no leads. They've got, literally, it was a total dead end. They know that both the bombs were made by the same, outfit. They were made the same way. They were placed, but they got no leads. Same with they watched people on camera build the gallows. Have you heard of Mr. Coffee?
No.
Okay, so someone had built gallows prior to the protesters getting there. Or the rioters, whatever words you want to use. Someone had built gallows and put a sign on it that was like "Hang Mike Pence" or something like that. Remember this?
Yes.
Okay, so they watched them. A group of 4 guys came with all the wood and everything to build these gallows. And then on camera, you can see them kind of talking to each other. And one guy took it upon himself to go get coffee. So he's known as Mr. Coffee. So he leads the 3 guys to continue erecting the gallows. And he walks past a dozen coffee shops and goes all the way to the coffee shop at the FBI headquarters building, right across the street. Gets coffee and brings the guys back coffee, and they can finish the construction. So what was how did he pay? Do you think he paid with cash?
I doubt it. Highly doubt it.
Exactly. So this guy, I mean, if he paid with cash, do you think they could have got a fingerprint off the money or something?
Absolutely. I mean, it's you can easily see and identify this person.
Yeah. So this guy walked. Do you think the guy was all masked up getting coffee?
I don't think so. I think you're not going into Starbucks looking like you're about to go rob it.
Yeah, across from the FBI headquarters, he passed so many other coffee shops. All these other places he could have got coffee. He went all the way to FBI headquarters. So I think when it looks like the gallows and these pipe bombs, you'd be crazy to think the fact that they don't mention anything. Well, we caught the guy that built the gallows, or we're still investigating these pipe bombs. They have no leads. I mean, they followed, when Ted Kaczynski was mailing bombs out, they exhausted every resource there was. They had hundreds of people hired to investigate the guys the letters, handwriting and stuff like that, try to find. They're not even curious in the least bit. And when Jerry Nadler is talking about how Democrats are victims of violence too, they don't mention the pipe bombs or the gallows because that stuff right there is a Jesse Smollett terror campaign. They're writing their own script. That's all I got for you, man.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And that'll be a wrap for me. Shout out to my retired Chicago police officer friend. Hopefully he's doing well, but that will be a wrap. I will see you guys again live on Saturday, same bad time, same bad place, 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will be here throughout the week putting out pre-recorded content as I normally do. You guys, please follow the new channel, or relatively new channel, Uncle ABL. I got a new video on there talking about this guy who was charging wedding guests $400 US American dollars to attend his wedding. And the guy said he spent, well, in his words, he said he spent between $100,000 and $200,000 on the wedding. Would y'all spend that much on the wedding? Listen, I got to be Jeff Bezos or something to justify spending that much money on the wedding. If I'm trying to charge family and friends to subsidize my wedding, I can't afford it. $100,000, I would never. $200,000, there is so much more I can do with that money than have a party for a day. There's no way I would ever pay that amount of money for that type of event. I don't care if it's a wedding, a reunion, any kind of party, a quinceañera. I'm not going to spend that much money on no party at all, point blank, period. Now, a house, okay, yeah, that makes sense for a house. But a party, you got me all the way messed up. But anyway, that new video is on Uncle ABL. Y'all go ahead and check me out over there. And also, shout out to you guys for watching. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these internets. If you like the show tonight, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Shout out to you guys who watching, retweeting, super chatting, whatever you do. Cannot do the show without you. Shout out to the trolls for getting up out of here because the mods got you in check. So shout out to the mods for keeping the chat in check and keeping the trolls in line. And that'll be a wrap for me. But before I wrap it on up and put the bowl clean on top, I just want to make sure I got all my super chats read. Thank you to Bob K MIT who says, I would have called in for Chesapeake, but I've been drinking and I want to follow your rules. Thank you for what you do. Shout out to you. I appreciate you for that. Thank you to Man of the Face who says, hey, Anthony, I support you and I know many others do. I'm afraid that the Democrats will win and that's not good for all of us. What should Trump do differently to keep them out? FKH, whatever. I don't know what the FKH means, but shout out to you. Now the question, Trump could just keep doing what he's doing. I mean, you might be a little anxious, but I don't really feel that same anxiety. Just keep doing what he's doing. Focus on policy as he has been doing. Focus on things people are concerned about. If people are concerned about something, then talk about it. People were concerned about Kamala's race, and that's still an issue because she's run on race. If you can run on race, I'm the first black this, the first black this, black. If you run on that and there's a question about it, why not address it? And if he doesn't want to do it, I'm gonna do it because people are concerned. I made videos about Kamala's race viral, all platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere, because it's a concern people have. We can say that race doesn't matter. We don't see race, and that's fine. If you feel that way, that's totally fine. But the truth is, people are concerned. Who is this woman? I thought she was black. She's Indian. This picture with the red dot on her forehead, and then she was on the show with Mindy Kaling talking about she's not really, she's in, like, people are concerned about it. So to drive my point home and land my plane, focus on things people care about. Because one way or the other, they're going to try to figure out what's going on. If you're not talking about it, I'm going to talk about it. And if I'm not talking about it, they're going to talk about it, and they'll lie about it, and then they'll make all of us look bad and make them look good. You see how that works? So you can't just hide from these topics that people are concerned about. Shout out to David Ray, who says, I like to see you as a guest on Timcast IRL before the end of the year. They contacted me one time, but I've not heard from them since. So whenever they ready, hey, Tim, the team over there, whenever you're ready, man, come on. Let's go to Berkeley Springs or wherever you at in West Virginia, and let's make it happen. You know, I've not been to that part of the state yet. I love to go. If you're still out there in West Virginia, like in that part, I love to go. Let's go hang out. Let's go do our thing. So it's whenever they're ready, I'm ready. But shout out to you guys again. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.